Bada boom, bada bing. How are you doing today? There's a Maxibut in the background. How are you beautiful people doing today? My name's Tom, and I'm going to be your host, as we are the most, and nobody's here, so I can really say whatever I want, like bada bada boom bomb. Nobody heard that. Nobody heard that. Nobody saw that, because guess what? This is unique talking before anybody actually gets here. When people get here, which people still aren't here. Oh, we got five car. That's Santa Rose. Wham Bam, she stole the van. Said, I heard it. Kill the Bob says, hi, hello. My king is back. Hi, what up? LVP078 said, yar. Jordy says, yeah. I don't know what I'm saying, guys. How is it going? I'm here. I'm hearing. Today, guys, we got an exciting stream ahead of us. Notification button is working. Bada boom, bada bingo. Let's go. New shirt? Who dis? Nah, it's the same shirt. I've worn the shirt many times on stream. People get mad at me because it's a green shirt. Tommy, give us a Subaru market update. 10% off everything. You're welcome. You say tummy? How about tummy? Tummy? Tommy said tummy? I don't think I have that big of a tummy. I would love to hire you to do my new crown insignia. 10 to 15% off. Easy. Give us an update on the Market X5. 8 to 12% off MSRP at least. You can think you can do more. Boom. Bada boom, bada bing. Guys, Tommy. Oh, Tommy, you're the best. Guys, so we got a plan today. Different room? No, same room. Same room who dis. What is your go-to, Alani? Do you have a P.O. box I can send some to? I do have a P.O. box. It's like 77722. Charlotte, something. I don't know. You have to ask I think that's it. That's the best I got. Fix this industry, Tom. I'm trying. Okay, guys. So, we got a plan today. Are you guys ready for the plan? Are we ready for the plan? How do you have so much money? I don't know if I have that much money. Boys and girls, the plan is simple. Every week we are inviting somebody from the team to come on up, answer your questions, and answer a few questions that I pre-populated, but I didn't ask her for her answers up front. So we have Shannon coming on to the live. Shannon has been moved in a few different positions here, but we are beyond excited. She's been here, I want to say, for about 4 months. She has no car sales experience, never sold a car in her life. Oh, actually, does she have car sales experience? She has sales experience, not car sales experience. She does not have car sales experience. So I'm really interested in having a conversation with her because a lot of people, it's the most common question I get. I have no car sales experience. I'm probably doomed. I can't make it here delivered. So we're going to have about 15 to 30 minutes. I'm talking to Shannon. Then we're going to go into debate day. Now, I have a hard stop, and I mean a hard stop at 5:30 Eastern. So we're going to debate the dealers. We are going to debate the dealers. The first 15 to 30 minutes is going to be with Shannon. We're going to talk, and then we're going to go through and do this. Remember the rules. We're doing the one-on-ones with the team. Team doesn't have to be on here. It's not a mandatory thing. We just ask you to be nice and kind. Be nice and kind. I'm going to try to get the video to work today. We tried to do that last time. How do you and your team not get burned out from dealing with awful dealerships daily? You know, that's a great question. Let's ask Shannon that. That's a good question. Can we all remember that question in our head? Is this going to be I don't know if that was supposed to be a joke, but yeah, it is debate day. What about kinda nice? Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Nothing but love for you and your team. Thank you. Just so you guys know, also, as we're waiting, it's not date night today, but we are hiring for 3 positions officially. I've talked about it a few times on the live, but we now have the applications open. We are hiring for an editor. Boom, editing content. We are hiring for a videographer and an editor. Now, that videographer, if they have any experience doing live streams, that would be beneficial. IRL streaming, but real IRL streaming, you know? Not just going to do crazy things, I'm telling you. Boom. Third person we're hiring for is a PR marketing person. Because I have to tell you guys each and every single time, we are not removing anybody from the team. We are not replacing anybody from the team. We are adding to the team. We have more content to come. We have a few projects that we're working on that we need more team members on to work on. Tommy, let me ask you, what's the average percent off you're seeing on a new Sorrento? 8% off MSRP. No new people. Dang. I didn't realize I was going to get told not to do 2 new people. Are you a good boss, though? I'd like to say so. I guess you can ask Shannon. IRL streaming and dealer negotiations? I don't know. Maybe. You drinking a beer? No, I'm drinking an Alani. Alani energy drink. Can you give me a GT3? Sure. How much you want to pay? Are the jobs remote? The only job that is not remote is going to be the Charlotte job, which is one of the videographer editor role, because I need you here. But I will relocate you if you're a good fit. So if you're a good fit, we will pay for reload. We have a reload package. Tommy as my boss scares me. I don't know why it'd scare you. I have a high standard. I wonder if we can actually get... Okay. Let's do me a favor. Let me minimize this. Share screen. Ignore this. Ignore all the things on the screen. Okay, we're gonna see if we get this to work today. This is gonna be like a moment of truth. Start collab cam. Copy. Okay, so we're gonna, while we're waiting here, I'm gonna put this in Slack. Boom, boom. Okay. Boom. New link at Shannon. Yeah, boom. Okay, we're gonna see if this is gonna work. I have faith. I have faith this is gonna work. And if it doesn't work, I blame everybody but me. What else we got? We're waiting here. What's your fee? $1,000. Boom. Easy. Easy peasy question. I don't know why this is my background today, but it is. Okay, we're going to see. We'll do that here for now. He called you. Wait. I ticked off a car salesman in one of my local Facebook groups in Indiana. He called you a tool. Why'd you call? What? Thank you for the $10 donation. Can we please repost live VODs after privating them on YouTube? I feel like you guys forget to add them. We normally add them over the weekend. Thank you for the $10. I will say we are looking on doing quite a few things on the content side. I will tell you, there's a lot of really exciting content updates that are happening in the next 30 days, which I'm not gonna go through them all right now. But I'm telling you, we have some really exciting, a lot more Tommy content, delivered content on the way. I'm watching the World Cup. USA. Yeah, watching USA. USA's crushing it. What are your thoughts on the couple knockoff companies I've delivered that have started? I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, competition's normally good, so I'm not mad. What frustrates me is I've seen a lot of them that are starting and they're already doing things that like I've advised not, like faking online reviews to say like, oh my God, I've had people already use the service. It's great. Charging a premium for a product that you haven't even delivered before. I don't know. I mean, it's all theirs. I think everybody's going to realize that this is a harder business than what people think. But it's fine. I'm excited for them to try. Can I make $350K a month? No. I mean, sure. I mean, if you really want to make $350K a month, we'd have to talk about what that would look like. But I mean, that's a lot of, I mean, that's a serious amount of money. We'd have to build you a role that would make sense for that, which would basically be running like multiple divisions of delivered. Okay, let's get a moment of truth. I'm going to see if I can get this to work. Am I going to be able to get this to work today? That's the real moment. New link. Ready for me to join? Yes. Let's see if we can actually get Shannon to get through. So guys, we have Shannon jumping in today. I'm going to do my best to see if we can get this to work. We're going to have Shannon introduce ourselves. Remember, do me a favor, be nice. That is all I ask of you guys, is to be nice. We're going to have how the process works is I'm going to ask her 3 questions that I've already told her to prepare. I haven't heard the answers, but I wanted to get 3 things that I thought you guys have asked before. And then I will open the floor for you guys. You can ask her anything and everything. It does not matter. The floor is yours. I will try to ask everything. I will try not to cherry pick. Understanding that it is an employer with our boss. Understanding that there is probably a little bit of a caveat here. Oh, wait, does Shannon work? Let's see. Moment of truth. Let's see. Now, boom. Okay, show on camera. Boom. Go on stream. Okay, so we got Shannon here on this one, but we don't have you on the other one. 1 second, Shannon.
You got it.
But I can't hear you either. 1 second. We're gonna get this. Boom. Boom. Okay, we got one Shannon. I can't hear you, just so you know, Shannon.
Okay.
But everybody else can hear you, so this is probably a Tommy problem.
Ah.
Okay, we can hear her, but they can't hear you on the other stream. Okay, wait, I got this. Watch this. Boom. Boom. We got you, Shannon. We got you live here. I still can't hear you, but I'm going to figure that out on my own. As we are starting here, Shannon, if you can do me a favor, introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, how long you've been at Delivered, and what you do here at Delivered as I try to figure out my audio.
No problem. So my name is Shannon. I'm coming at you from central Wisconsin. I have worked with Delivered for 3.5 months. I actually started on the team that handles the initial consultation, but now I am now researching and negotiating deals. So I don't get to live stream like Tommy does, but I definitely get to be behind the scenes researching and negotiating.
Shannon, I'm still my audio. Why does I test everything before it happens, and we had audio work last time. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go. I don't want to call you. We're gonna figure this one out. Shannon, I'm not gonna be the one to hold this up, so I'm gonna ask you your next question. I know I need to be able to hear you. This is absurd. I can't not hear you, and I feel bad because you're just like this. Okay. Let me go through. I could call you on Slack. That might work. Let me try that. Then we have visual and audio. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing, Shannon. Boom, boom, boom. Huddle. Start huddle. Does this work? Let's see. Start huddle. Moment of truth. Can I hear this? Can I hear you now?
Do you want me to mute in this other
my
one?
audio? Wait, now I can hear you. Okay. So let me do this. Okay. So now I have this. I'm going to do this. Okay. Talk.
Can you hear me, Tommy?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Can everybody hear? I know there's going to be no more echo. The echo's fixed, I think. Okay. You're good. Okay. I think I muted your collab cam. We're good. We're great. Okay, Shannon, hopefully you introduced yourself. You didn't say anything crazy because I couldn't hear a word you just said. So hopefully that was good. Okay, let me pull up my questions here. Shannon, obviously you've been with the company for a little bit. One of the biggest things that people ask me all the time, we have 2,000 people apply in the last application, is I have no car sales experience. I don't even know what cars are. You've obviously been in this company. What is your experience? Do you feel like you need car sales experience in order to do this role? What obstacles have you overcome? Understanding that, let's dive into a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah, so I sold cars, but 10 years ago. I worked at CarMax for about 8 years. So I have used car sales, but that was 10 years ago. I've been in different arenas. A lot of that knowledge, cars 10 years ago are not the cars now, right? So when I came into this, it was just a matter of being a sponge, being able to just say, I've got a lot to learn and I don't have to learn it all at once, but I've got to be a sponge to this. So having car experience is not the important part. I think just really having active listening skills, have confidence when you talk, absorb information, and utilize resources is the tool to success at working here. I believe really.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you obviously because you're not dealing with cars every day, right? You are dealing with cars, but you're not like right next to the car. You're at home. So how do you help our clients understand that product knowledge? How do you keep yourself on track of that every single day?
Yeah, so AI is like a magical tool for me. I have like a little setup in my chat GPT that I keep track of things that I've learned. I am somebody that has a really good time and really good success rate in negotiating Lexus deals. So doing so many Lexus deals week after week, now I'm like, I have the confidence to go through and, okay, this trim level comes with this one comes with that. But every week I also get vehicles that I might not know a heck of a lot about, that I wouldn't say I'm an expert in. For
Mhm.
example, Land Rover. Land Rover's a good one. That one's new to me. I've done enough consultations with Land Rover clients, but just being able to pull window stickers, spec sheets, going to the websites, clicking on, their current offers, clicking through the vehicles, just learning about the vehicle has provided me with so much knowledge. Just being able to confidently say, yep, this one actually comes standard with the panoramic roof at this trim level. We don't have to do that as an add-on. But just consistency and working the same deals, I guess, over and over, you retain that knowledge.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that. Obviously, it's a something that we're overcoming every single day, and it's something that our clients expect us to be experts on absolutely everything. And when you work at one brand, that's one thing. When you work with every single one, it obviously adds a little bit more strain to the system. But it's why we hire the way we do. But I do want to go through. You are in one of those stages that does negotiate. So last week we talked to James. He's not a negotiate. You've bounced around a few positions, but you are negotiating car deals. And a
Mhm.
lot of people see me negotiate, and it's a lot different than what you guys do. So I'd love for you to explain like the difference, because I know you've watched some of our streams, you've watched some of the videos. What's the difference between like how you guys approach it, and like what's the mentality normally when you call and you're calling from delivered? How does a dealership normally treat you?
Oh, I have totally adopted the Tommy negotiation factor. I'm like, bada bing, bada boom. And then they're like, oh, easy, done. And I'm like, cool, on to the next. No, just kidding.
No, I was gonna say,
Um,
is the secret just the bada boom, bada bing? Like, just you got to throw that in
I
there a few
mean,
times.
there was a dealership that I called that I didn't know had our number saved as delivered. So he threw the bada boom, bada bing at me. And I was like, well, there goes my fun in this call. He already knows who I am. But really, it's split right now, right? So we have this incredible list of dealerships that we do consistent deals with. You've talked about it on your live stream before, is like kind of your go-to guys and gals that negotiate with you. But if I have to get into an arena that I haven't worked a deal with them before. It's just a straightforward conversation, to be honest. I pull a vehicle up, I have it ready in front of me, and I say, hey, look, this is the vehicle that I'm interested in. I know on your website it says that it's available. I know that's not always true. Is it on your lot? Is it available? Is it pre-sold? What's going on with this? And then kind of talking through. And then once they say, let me get my hands on it, which that's like a new thing in the last few weeks that I'm hearing a lot more. Let me call
Mm,
you back. I gotta get my hands on it. Okay. So then once they say, yep, the vehicle's available, what do you want to know about it? And then I say, well, just looking to see what the best out the door price is going to be. Do you guys do any sort of dealer ads, anything like that?
mm.
And if they go into this huge sales pitch about, the exterior coating and all it, I'm like, put the brakes on.
Yeah.
So here, my name's again, it's Shannon. I'm actually calling you from a company called Delivered. Are you familiar with us? And sometimes they'll say, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for you guys to call me to do a deal with you. And other
What
times they
percentage of people would you say that are like, hey, yep, we've heard it delivered versus I have no idea who the hell you're talking about?
I would probably say, it's probably a 50-50 split, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
okay. So you're
Um,
not you're not just calling dealerships that know who we are every single time. It's not like a background. You're calling random dealers that have never heard of us
mhm,
and introducing yourself.
yep, yep. And even then, like once they hear who we are, once I clarify, I say, we are not a broker, and they explain how the process works. They're like, cool, let's do this. What do we need to get to here? But it becomes a conversation. It's not, you know, one side or the other. Neither person is controlling the call. It's just a conversation.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So maybe it's a little bit different than what we're seeing on live. Obviously, once they know that you're a professional negotiator on a professional team, I think it probably throws them a little bit through a curve, which is good. We want to do that sometimes. And the three things I want to go is obviously you're negotiating car deals every single day. The people that watch us want to buy cars. You are now a professional negotiator. So I would love to know your three biggest tips for somebody who doesn't know the car industry on how to negotiate a great deal, because you came into this not being an expert on new cars, right? You sold used cars a while ago, but like what are the three best tips that you would say that you would give to somebody if they were trying to buy a new car today?
I think the first tip that I would give somebody would be that you don't have to go at this from like that firm, aggressive, I'm not going to let anybody take advantage of me. Your tone of voice and your body language, even if you're doing this over the phone, how you're holding yourself, that body language, it's going to change how your voice inflects. So I think just going into the conversation, having data points. So do your research before you pick up the phone. Have a
Mhm.
few options in front of you. Do price comparisons. Okay, this one is well above the other three. Let me try and figure out why. Do your own research so that you're not calling them and saying, your vehicle's
Mhm.
$5,000 more than the one down the street. Why? Come with confidence.
Love that.
That would be tip one, would be kind but confident. Tip two is definitely do your own market research. If you find one online that is ridiculously priced lower than any other one by thousands of dollars, it's probably not real and they just want to get you into their dealership.
Yeah.
So having a few options, four or five in front of you to price compare so you kind of know where that mid range is. Um, and then make sure when you call the dealership, you have that specific vehicle pulled up in front of you.
Mhm.
There have been times when I've called dealerships to negotiate a deal. They send me the deal sheet and then I look at the online price and I'm like, wow, they give the online customers 10,000 off and they only gave me 8K. Something's wrong here. So just make sure that when you're negotiating on those numbers, you keep the price up in front of you. Hey, I noticed online it says dealer discount is 2,500. I'm actually hoping to be closer to 4,000 on this. Is that somewhere where we could be?
Mhm.
Because if you go in not knowing exactly what it is, you could be, you know, they can get one over on you by
Mhm.
providing whatever price they wanted to, and you didn't even see the online price.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like I think one of the biggest things you nailed is just being prepared, right? Being prepared every single day, understanding that less prepared you are for a phone call, the
Mhm.
tougher it's going to be. And car salespeople can see that, right? We
Yeah.
see that we see that every day, and we see weakness in car sales as well. Now, I do want to open this up for some questions from chat. Obviously, you don't have to have chat pulled up. I'll read them out to you here. I want to go about 5-10 minutes to some questions if you don't mind.
No problem.
Okay, perfect. So, guys, I'm going to open this up to you guys. Any questions you guys have, or we try to be an open book here, delivered. I know Shannon introduced herself. So, any questions you guys have with her, she is on. She has done our consult side, so she meets with clients as the first point of contact, and now she's recently moved into the negotiation side, where she's actually negotiating deals for our clients and bouncing around between both here. Okay, this is interesting here. So, we've had a lot of people apply. Shannon, you obviously applied. You got the job. I didn't
Mhm.
know if you knew that. But people always want to know, like, what are the tips on the application? With 2,000 people applying, how did you get through whenever nobody else could?
So I planned, like I was organized. It wasn't just click and fill out an application, move on to the next one. One of the things, if you notice, every time Tommy posts an ad, he always asks you to create a Loom video. You got to think if there's 2,000 people that applied, how are you going to stand out amongst 2,000 people? And so that was how I approached my Loom when I was applying, was like, I need to be memorable to Tommy and delivered, because I know I looked at how many views were on the video and I was like, I'm one of how many people that saw this. So I was like, how am I going to stand out? So really, it was just being authentically myself. Like you've done a ton of interviews, right, Tommy? And
Yeah.
the person you interview and the person you hire can often be different. And I think it's really important that when you're applying for a position, you have to be authentically yourself. So in my
Mhm.
video, I'm like talking super fast. I'm like, you want to hire me because I'm going to be moving faster than anybody. You have to keep up with me, which I
Yeah.
quickly learned that I need to keep up with delivered. So just be authentically yourself and do something that stands out.
Yeah, absolutely. And you realize very quickly, I don't think people realize how fast we move as a company until you get thrown in. And we use it's like drinking from a fire hydrant, and it's every day. Do you still feel like you're drinking from a fire hydrant, or is it like a really strong hose? Or like, how do you feel right now as of, after being here for, is it 4 or 5 months?
3.5.
Jeez, see, this is when we've hired 18 people in the last 4 months, which is awesome. But like I'm trying to keep track of when everybody started. 3.5. So how does it feel? Does it feel fire hydrant? Does it feel hose? Does it feel any better?
No, it's definitely, I don't feel like it's a fire hydrant. Like for me, I've settled in. I was just talking to Emil the other day. Like I loved being in the consult stage. Absolutely love doing the first meet and greet with the client once they've signed up. Like aside from your face, Tommy, I get to be the face of delivered to the client. And I loved that. But then when I moved into research and negotiation, I was like, I think I found my home. So now that I found my groove and I have confidence, I'm getting really, really great offers and building a lot of connections with dealerships. I definitely feel like it's more like a warm summertime water hose than the whole fire hydrant. So
Wow. Okay. So how do you know when it's time to accept a deal and start working on the next one? This is obviously this is delivered process. So I've talked about it a few times, but what's your general rule of thumb?
so for me, I absolutely love chaos. So for me, I work pretty much my entire pipeline all at once. But then when I start getting traction on a particular vehicle, I'll pause, I'll review the bids that I have, make a few phone calls, check to see where I'm at on, deals, and then say, yep, this one's ready because I've
Mhm.
been able to get a few local options. I've got a few, maybe across the country and a few that are, regionally the same. But once I start looking at those numbers and I can see this is pretty much, we've got a really, really aggressive one, we've got a decent one, then I feel comfortable in presenting that. Well, having the presenter present it to the client, move on.
I I love it. Yeah, because obviously we have a separate person that does that, and you're just negotiating all day. So
Yeah.
what was the hardest transition from your previous employer to delivered?
Oh man, a lot of transitioning. Um, I think just the fact that like I can vocalize my opinions, ideas, and suggestions, and they don't fall on deaf ears. And so it was like I could speak about something, but then I had to follow up with context. And I was like, well, wait a second, I wasn't prepared for that. I figured it just gets swept under the rug. But now when I bring something up, it's like, wait a minute, you're onto something. Let's break this down. And then, we're improving processes and making things easier for the client and for the team and so on. So I think that would be probably the was being able to just speak freely on ideas and move with it.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that I think a lot of employers are afraid to do. And obviously, we talk about it as a team. I don't like to use the word employer, but yeah, obviously that's where we are. But like you've only been here for 3.5 months. How many places of business are going to go through and say somebody's been here for 3.5 months? Not only can we get your ideas, but we encourage them, and now we're implementing them. One
Yeah.
thing that we really pride ourselves on delivered because we have such a great talented pool of people. When we hire somebody because we believe they'll make an impact in the company. And Shannon's done just that. And every stage that she's been in, I can give you praise for hours. And obviously we've told you many times, but you are absolutely destroying your role. And everything we put in, you just put a smile on your face. You bring energy to the room that we love. And obviously our clients have said phenomenal things. Okay, so let me go through a few more questions here. I'm gonna find one here. I lost it. Do you call back salespeople after you've negotiated all these deals and tell them no deal? Like I'm passing.
So, um, I don't necessarily call them back. I usually get in a text with them and we're
Okay.
kind of communicating throughout the day. Um, if the salesperson specifically asks me, like if we were to really solid deal and they're like, Shannon, I feel good about this, but if anything changes, can you let me know? Yes, I will call them, but I don't manually go through and call each of them, but I will shoot them a text. If they are in our CRM, they'll receive an automatic text that says, we're so sorry your bid wasn't selected. The client went with another option because of this, and really explaining the why, because what we don't want is them to, the dealerships or salespeople, to get upset, like, dang, another one I didn't get to do it delivered, but more of like kind of a let learning how to work more deals. Like, okay, maybe I do need to focus on just doing deals from a local perspective, or
Mhm.
I've got to come a little bit better. I've got to take off my dealer ads, or, whatever the case may be. But yeah, usually a text goes out thanking them for their time and their offer. And, definitely look forward to working with them hopefully soon.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in this one here. I'm curious because people that work at Delivered don't understand the dynamic of Delivered. But this is a comment from obviously someone that doesn't like us, which is fine. But I'm curious what your thoughts are on this comment.
Okay.
You'd be crazy to work for Tommy. $80,000 to be bossed around by this guy. No thanks. So I want to like, what is it to work for Tommy? And I want you to be completely honest with this, right? Like, because obviously I think people think that I just stand over your shoulder all day and I just boss you around and I say, Shannon, make more calls. But I'd love for you to like, what is it like to work at Deliver? Do you feel micromanaged? Do you feel like you're more collaborative? Are you more individual? I'd love for you to address that comment. Be honest with it. I can leave
Yeah,
the room.
so first I'd like to address that comment by openly admitting that I am crazy. So there's that part of it. The second part would be that while this is Tommy's company, Tommy has an entire team of people that work through with the rest of the team. Um, I don't report directly to Tommy every day. Like, what do you need me to do, Tommy? Where do you need me to be? What did I mess up? What am I doing wrong? What did I do right? Tommy is like the 10,000-foot view. And then the rest of the team and leaders, it's a really the most collaborative company that I've ever worked with. I don't ever, and I told Emma this the other day. I was like, there's been times I want to reach out to Tommy, but like military mindset, I'm like chain of command. So who do I reach out to? And he's like, Shannon, are you kidding me? I understand your mentality, but are you kidding me? Like, open book. And I'm like, that's on me. But honestly, I've never felt more empowered at a company in my
Mhm.
entire adult life, ever. I come up with an idea, I lay it out, present it to the team, and they will go through and say, I love this part. Let's work on that part. What do we think about this? And extract it. But it's never been anybody looking over my shoulder. Nobody's tracking my metrics on, call time. How many texts did I send out? None of that is being, nobody's watching me. I mean, my dog is sleeping. That's the only one that watches me through the day, is the sleeping dog. Um, no, it's literally, I have an Excel sheet that I work off of, the deals that I'm working that week, and I color code them. Like, these are the ones that are completed. These are the ones I'm still working on, and these are the ones that I'm waiting to be presented. And that's pretty much it. The data that we get, the clients, that deals that we're closing, that kind of just tells us my team's working. And at the end of the day, when you hire right people, you don't have to worry about micromanaging or watching over shoulders. I think you've said it so many times, like, we really focus on hiring people, the right people. When
Mhm.
you hire the right
Yeah.
people, you don't have to micromanage. You don't have to watch over shoulders. You don't have to have some setup on their computer to track mouse clicks. Like, it's trust, and that's a huge thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And empowering people to do a great job. Like, we're all adults, and that's how we treat everybody at the company. I hire people that I believe that are better than me, and add a strength to this company. And the beautiful thing about it is, as we grow, we have 20 plus employees. We had a team meeting, which I'm going to ask you about here in just a second. But
Mhm.
it's crazy to see the amount of faces there are. And I'm not in the day-to-day production side. Obviously, I'm working heavily on the media side. So there's always a disconnect that people think that I'm just hovering over everybody's shoulders saying, do this, do that.
No.
Speaking of team meetings, I think
Mhm.
a lot of people like to know, like, what's the dynamic? Is there a lot of team meetings? How are the team meetings? Are they quick? Are they efficient? Are they fat long? Do we have 3 a day? What's the general idea with our team meetings?
My very first team meeting was 7 minutes.
Was that just like an intro, like, hi Shannon, nice to meet you, bye?
No, it was the team meeting. It was literally, came in with the agenda. This is what's on the agenda. Knocked out the agenda. The rest of the time is closing loops. communicate with clients. Like, we're not going to internally take up all of each other's time when we're here quite literally for the clients. We can't create a better client experience if we're all in back-to-back meetings all day. The
Mhm.
meetings are so great because it's, here's the agenda. This is what we need to cover. If you have any additional questions, send them, sidebar them, or put them in the chat. We can address them as they come up. But it's never a long, drawn out meeting. It's very much organized, to the point. What's the intended goal? What are we trying to achieve? Go get them, team. And I
Yeah.
love that.
You got to respect people's times, and the more time you take in a meeting, the more time you're pulling away from productivity that needs to be done. And one thing that anybody who works to deliver realizes really quick is there's never not work, double negative. There's always work to be done. There is always deals to negotiate. I
Yeah,
cannot remember the last time where we ran out of deals. That's been 3 years since we've run out of deals in our funnel for people waiting. So there's always work to be done. You always have a full platter. You always start your day off with a full plate, and you end your day with a full plate. And obviously, we want to make sure you're taken care of, and we want to respect your time for that.
absolutely.
Let's go through. Okay, here, let's ask for this one, because everybody always asks this one. How do you now? If you've heard me before, which obviously we talk about in the meetings, but I talk about it on live all the time. My goal is to put ourselves out of business. You
Mhm.
obviously work here. You're supplying for your family. How do you feel working for a company that is trying to put itself out of business?
Um, I'm not worried a thing about it. I think we've got plenty of time before that happens, unfortunately, but also fortunately. But I also know that there's other problems to solve. That was something early on that, obviously as a new person, I was like, that's kind of unnerving. I just got here. Like, I've got sponsorabilities. Can we who talk through this? And it was like, yeah, we solved this problem, but there's how many more? This
Mhm.
is right now's focus, right? And I
Yep.
know once we move past this part, the next focus, I'm part of a team now. So I feel comfortable that this mentality, this team can carry over into the next problem, into the next problem, into the next problem. So I'm not worried a thing about putting ourselves out of business. I'd love to see it happen because that means, Tommy, you did it. But oh wait, we did it.
There you go. I say
But
we did. This is gonna be again. I make the joke that I want the Wikipedia page, but this is a team effort, and we would not be here without the team every single day. And I talk about it quite often on just the amount of deals that I was negotiating before, and it's still a surreal feeling that I was negotiating 60 deals a week myself, 40 to 60 deals a week myself. And now I can breathe and just focus on this, right? And being able to talk about our mission, be able to bring somebody from Delivered up and be able to have a conversation and be able to talk about the company we work for, as we're hiring 3 more people right now. We're hiring 2 editors, an editor, a videographer, and a PR marketing person. So it's crazy. We're just growing, which is awesome. So obviously, I need you to keep negotiating car deals, so I don't want to keep you too long. Is there anything you would like to leave with the audience? Anything you would like to say? The floor is yours, Shannon.
am I allowed to give a certain dealership a shout out on here? Am I allowed to do that?
You know
Or
what?
is that
I
frowned
said you were
upon in
allowed
this
to say
establishment?
anything, and I was not expecting this. Sure.
So like I said earlier in the live, I negotiate on a lot of Lexus deals. They're actually my favorite deals to negotiate because, like I said, I've built up such a great network of sales folks that I can just go to and be like, these are the 15 Lexus I need this week. Give me your best number.
Mhm.
But Josh at Lehigh Valley Lexus in Pennsylvania, top tier. It literally has numbers, V specs back to me in minutes after I reach out, like exact trims, exact colors, like no. So every time he's the first person I always reach out to because I know I'm going to get really good. And we've closed quite a few deals with him, but I definitely wanted to give him a shout out for sure because he makes my job so much better.
Wow. Okay. Well, I love that you gave a dealer a shout out. That is something that's always good. Lehigh's great, so I'm glad you gave them. Shannon, thank you so much for being here. Everybody in chat, thanks Shannon for being here. I know it's not easy to jump on in front of thousands of people and talk about your job in front of your boss, but I will pay you your bonus later for saying all those nice things.
No, thank you. But it's easy when you're just in a room with just Tommy. Like I don't have the live open, so I wasn't distracted by any comments because I was like watching some of these lives. There's been times I've been watching a live, and one of the debates that you got into, I was like, keyboard
Mm,
warrior incoming. I almost jumped up on the panel because I wanted to be like, dude, one like somebody does 10 test drives and then they go hire you. Yeah, if you did 10 test drives and then they come and hire delivered, if you did your job on those 10 test drives, that client is going to say, "Can you call so and so at such and such? I really want to close the deal with them. I just don't want to do the dealership thing." And
yeah.
I'll make it happen. But you don't hear that very often. When it does happen, 100% I'm calling that person right away. But
Mhm.
yeah, there's been too many times that I've been watching the comments like, "Let me at him, Tommy. Let me at him."
Dude, I love it, Shannon, and it's crazy the level of expertise you have 3.5 months in. I would challenge our team as some of the best in the business, and when it comes down to again putting somebody with such little time in the company, being able to speak with confidence with people. Thank you so much for being here, Shannon. It means the world. I'm gonna let you get back to your day, and let's keep rocking and rolling.
Thanks for having me. See ya.
See ya. Okay, and that is it, guys. Thank you guys so much for having Shannon on. I appreciate each and every one of you. One thing I'm going to remind as we have everybody this week, guys, is I'm live every single day, right? I'm live every single day. I'm very, very familiar with this. No matter what, being in front of a crowd, being in front of a stage is a different vibe and a different opportunity. And it takes a little bit to get a little loose, right? Sometimes it's okay to be loose. It's okay. Like it's nerve wracking. And if you don't believe me, go on stage in front of 1,000 people and try to say anything you want. You'll get nervous. You'll get nervous. But Shannon did great. She did phenomenal. We ask you to be nice. I'm going to definitely mute a whole bunch of people. We have mute buttons on Super Strong, so be nice, be kind. There will be a VOD on this for sure. Don't forget our bonus. Okay, guys, so now what we are all... Actually, I think you guys are all here for that. But now for the bonus round. What I'm going to do is debate day. Debate day, debate day. We are debating car dealerships. So first off, let's see if we have anybody. Boom, 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 boom. Let me get. Now, if you want to debate us, all you have to do is call in to DM me on Instagram or Facebook are the two things we're going to do. First thing that I'm going to do before I say anything is I'm going to call Mike.
Thanks for calling Mike's Car Store. This is Grant.
Hey, I was hoping to speak to Mike.
One moment.
Hello, you've reached the voicemail of Mike Davenport, owner of Mike's Car Store. I apologize he's unavailable to take your call at this moment. Given the volume of calls he's receiving, it's important that he dedicates his time to the most pressing issues at hand. If you believe your call falls into that category, kindly leave a detailed message with your name, your contact information, the purpose of your call, and any relevant specifics that would help me to understand and prioritize your request. If your call is sales related, I'd like to direct you to speak with Grant in our sales department, who will be better equipped to address your inquiries and concerns in a timely manner. Remember, the more information you provide, the more likely it is that your call will be returned promptly. Thank you for understanding and for helping us make the most efficient use of our time to better serve you.
Hey, Mike, it's Tommy Makula from Delivered. Dude, it happens. Sometimes I grab my phone and I'm trying to respond to somebody after calling them out on the internet, and I accidentally hit the block button on both their accounts. Dude, it must have been an accident. I forgive you. You made a video saying that you wanted to have a live conversation with me, and you accidentally blocked me, which is probably why you're not seeing any of my messages and why you're not responding and why you're deleting all the comments off every Facebook page that you're making and acting like you're the victim. I have no idea, but you offered to have a phone call conversation with me or a live conversation with you. So here I am. I'm going to be live till 5:30 today, so I'm going to let you know that I want to give you as much detail as possible. I'm live on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. You can DM me on Instagram. We can have a real conversation. You called our business out a few times. You've talked about us for 2.5 years, giving you an opportunity, but I get it. You are the world's most famous car salesman, and you probably have thousands of people reaching out to you, calling for you. So I'm hoping that you get this voicemail. If not, I'll try again until we eventually get a hold of you, because you have a public message in the world asking to talk to me. So hopefully we can talk, Mike. I would love to, because I agree. Buying a car doesn't have to suck when you use delivered. Okay, let's go. Bada boom, bada bing. We left him a voicemail. Let's go through and let's go and have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. I would love to have you guys DM me on Instagram if you want to have a conversation. If you're like, hey, Tommy, I would love to jump on. We have phone calls you in. The only thing is we're debating car salesmen on anything you want. I have a hard stop at 5:30. You got 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours. So now, when we're talking about this conversation, I'm going to say some controversial things. You can certainly go. First off, we'll just start it off, because I'll give one for Chevy Dude. Chevy Dude, I think you're a narcissist, and I think you're a pathological liar, and I have proof. Boom, that's my first controversial state. I don't think it's that controversial. Secondly, I believe that direct-to-consumer is a better route to go and would actually make dealerships more profitable, more efficient, and a better overall experience if we allow direct-to-consumer to exist. Third, I believe commission should be abolished from all dealerships today. I think dealerships have lost the right to charge a commission. They should not charge a commission, and it's one of the reasons why there's no trust in this industry. Fourth, I believe that marking up rate should be an illegal practice, and we should not be able to do this unless you should have to disclose you have a fiduciary duty, or allow people to disclose you to let them know you don't have fiduciary duty, and then I don't care if you mark up rate. Ooh. If you have anything you want to debate, you can debate. Anybody can debate. Funny enough, I had a million people on Facebook that said they wanted to debate me. So we should have a lot of people that said they want to debate. Moderators, make sure you guys are checking Facebook as well for me, if you don't mind. Okay, we're going to wait here. I'm giving you guys unpopular opinions. This guy calling someone a narcissist is pure gold. Is this Chevy Dude? Is that you? Like, is that you? Is that just your, like, a secret account? Oh, it must be. Last topic. A salesman is a glorified secretary. I believe sales managers should not exist in their current state. I'll go there. I'll add another controversial take. Anybody's allowed. You can literally DM me on Instagram. We call in. We have a respectful conversation. No, I'm Ram, dude. If you disagree with some things, why don't you come on live? I don't tell anybody where you work. You just have to verify you're a person. You can come on live and you can tell us all the things you're saying, because it's easier to talk than type. One of the things we talked about in our meeting today is that voice to text, or voice notes, or voice to text is so much faster. I don't even work in the car industry. You just said you work for Ram. You don't just say I am Ram. Why all the drama, though? I don't watch all day, but every time I jump in, there's more drama from fire type shit. Even if Tommy's right, it feels like a crash out is brewing. No, we have a lot of people attacking us lately, and we've been defending our business, and most of the people are just falling out. Like, just call me crazy. I don't believe somebody with a platform of 1 million plus followers should be able to go say your business is illegal, go out and say how easy it is to buy a car while lying to the public, literally not disclosing things like being friends with the owner of the dealership that he knows nobody with, then going out and saying, hey, I invite Tommy to have a public conversation so we can resolve this, and then completely block and ignore everybody. I'm gonna defend my business. Tommy, when negotiating Toyota, guys, come on, I want somebody to debate. Do we have nobody debating? Hello, can I come on live? We got somebody that wants to come on live. Hopefully we got our moderators going. They're verifying to make sure they're real people. It's illegal to operate without a proper documentation and license. No, it's not. It's not illegal to help somebody purchase a vehicle, Zach, but good job. I'm so glad you don't know the law. What law has already been talked to? We already had a conversation. Get him on to debate you. What do you debate me on? That I'm awesome? Chevy, but again, Zach Morris, if you believe this, by all means, you can come on the live, Zach. Every day you're here hating, but you can come on the live and tell everybody why it's illegal for me to exist. Or Zach Morris, did you get your information from an IP lawyer? So this is what Zach Morris did. Zach Morris watched an IP lawyer that said he was a dealership compliance lawyer that's been doing this for 6 weeks, that isn't licensed in the state that I'm in, and took his word for the gospel. Don't mix up my words. I mean, I think I just read your exact thing. We got somebody coming up here soon. But Zach, if you're not worried, they're just coming up. Do you work with the same dealerships over multiple deals? Sometimes. Olivia, what up? Steelers are winning the Super Bowl. Or, yeah, Steelers win the Super Bowl before Chevy Guy will ever get on a live. Streams were much better when you did strictly negotiations, in my opinion. Well, there hasn't been lives in the last 3 years where I've done strictly negotiations. But I appreciate it. Here's the thing is, like, before there was no structure to the lives, now we have structure. On Thursdays, you know it's not a negotiation day. And these lives do really well. So I appreciate it. You don't have to watch this one, though. It's not illegal to do what you do. It's illegal to operate without the appropriate license. What license do I need, Zach? Are you just saying in general? Like, what license do I need? Waiting for Zach. I mean, again, come on. Zach Morris, you could just come on up and explain to everybody. Well, we have somebody. I have 7 messages. We got 43 minutes ago. Did he say anything? Otherwise, I'm going to call this guy. He's asking ChatGPT. ChatGPT, there's this guy online that I don't like. And he needs a license, but I don't know what license. Can you tell me what license he needs? He's ChatGPT in it. Don't worry. Okay. Zach, you could have come on the live, but I'm going to call the person that's actually put their term. I'm going to give him 5 more seconds to give me an answer. 4 more seconds. 3 more seconds. 1, I'll come on the live. Then DM me on Instagram, verify who you are, and then you can come on. I get your number and I call you. Okay. Watch, Zach's going to conveniently wait until I'm not ready.
Hello?
Hey, is this Chase?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Chase, this is Tommy from Delivered here. So if you haven't been on before, the premise is really simple. First off, appreciate you coming on up, but premise is simple. You get to disagree with anything that I say. Floor is yours. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I will say I don't think anything that you do is illegal. Because, I mean, I'm sure, obviously, you wouldn't be able to operate as a business. You would have been shut down at this point if that was the case, and I don't really know well enough to dive into that. But I do think it kind of skirts the line of... So you worked in the car industry. Were you a salesman or a sales manager?
I was salesperson and finance. I did finance for the majority of my time, though.
Okay. So, okay, that's actually better. So you were in finance, and you know that when somebody comes in without, like, let's say it's a random up, right? A drive-by.
Sure.
They come in and, yep. And they come in, they want to put a car, let's say, in their business name, for example. They don't have their business tax ID. They don't have, you know, what is it that they need? They need the date established, like the day of business established, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the basics, and they don't have the proper documentation. You know how frustrating that can be. And for a salesperson who's, you know, just trying to get the deal done, you're kind of acting as a middleman where no salesman's first instinct is going to be to think, oh, this person's buying a car for somebody else up front. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of, it comes down to, like, I don't know, just kind of like going behind their back in a way. Not like necessarily going behind their back is the wrong word for it, but just kind of like pretending to be somebody else, I guess, is a good way to explain it.
But would we not agree that unless you're like a 1% salesman, which 99% are, like nobody's gathering any of this titling information until numbers are agreed upon. You're not getting tax IDs on a business and date of incorporation and P&L statements until the deal is agreed upon. So like I agree that like it would be frustrating but like deals aren't, none of this information is gathered until after numbers are agreed upon. I say, yep, I'm buying the car, and then that happens.
Right, but I mean, well, I guess that's kind of the whole business model. I was going to say, I mean, the reason sales exists is because we build rapport with these people. They sit down in front of us. We, go through the whole process with them. And I was trained, at least the way I was trained, is go out there and make friends. In our morning meeting, they say, go out there and make friends with the public. That's how they close it off every single day.
Sure.
But so when you come in, it kind of throws off, I guess, the mojo is really the best way to explain it, where you're trying to make friends with this person, you're trying to chit chat, do whatever. And come to find out, oh, I just wasn't talking to the person who's buying the car at all. And then in the future, obviously, salespeople have to build a customer base to have returning customers, referrals, all this kind of stuff. And I know you do go back to dealerships and you do, consistent work with certain people or certain dealerships, certain people, whatever. But it kind of, like I said, going behind their back, quote unquote, in a sense of like, this person thinks they're building rapport with the customer, they're doing great work, they're doing all this, and then come to find out the person that's buying the car isn't even the one they were speaking to.
Sure. I mean, I would argue that there's very few videos where I have many people trying to build rapport. There's been a few, but I mean, most aren't trying to do that over a phone call. But two things that I'll say is, first off, this is just like any other deal. After we agree to numbers, you meet the client, you talk to the client, you get all the client's information. So the idea of like you not getting a customer base, we have plenty of car salesmen that try to sell our clients after the fact, right? Like you get to meet them, talk to them. It's as if a dad came in and negotiated for their daughter. You're still able to do that. So that part, I wouldn't understand why that would hurt or help the process. Like that shouldn't change anything. Secondly, you also have to remember these people are in the mentality is they have paid somebody because they don't want to be friends with you. And I'm going to be that middle person, that mediator that says, hey, whoa. This person's giving us a good deal. They're willing to do X, Y, and Z. Let's connect the two. So a person that didn't even want to talk to you is now in your backyard and saying, you know what, I'm going to do business with them because my mediator said that was okay, right? That's the beauty of this, right? Is this person didn't even want to be friends with you. And we're able to create that connection with people you may have never had before.
Okay. I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I also didn't know that you guys had, like, I thought 9 out of 10 times it was more of like a shipping kind of process where, you buy out of state and then the vehicle gets shipped to customer. I didn't realize that
75% of our deals are
into the showroom. Sorry?
75% of our deals are now local.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. So that's fair. I can't really say anything to that. But how often do you think those people are actually coming back and giving referrals? Like, obviously, like you said, they're paying to essentially not be our friend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So how often do you really think that these people are going to be? And obviously, you're not wasting your time because the salesman's getting a car deal out of it. And I'm just thinking from my point of view, right? I can't speak for the top 1% because I really am not a top 1% salesman. I'm not delusional enough to say that I am. But how often do you really think that, when you connect the two, obviously, like you said, you're the mediator, that the customer is then going and telling their friends, hey, this person at whatever, Mazda, wherever, is a great salesman. You guys should definitely do deals with him, as opposed to, oh yeah, I went to the service call delivered and they did the whole thing for me. All I had to do was go pick up the car. They're not even going to remember the salesman.
It's possible. I mean, there's two different ways to go. First off, you got to remember the amount of time you're going to put into a delivered deal versus any other deal is going to be, and again, we track this as about 30 minutes of your time that you'll spend on an entire delivered deal. So because of that, like, yes, the turnover rate of referrals is less. But I will also say, we had a business client that bought a business car from a Ford dealership. I'll never forget this, in North Carolina. He did 3 deals with me, did 3 deals. And since that day, that guy has bought 14 more cars in the last 2 years and not a single one was delivered. He has bought every single one from that dealership. He continues to go back because they were easy. We're able to make that connection. I don't follow up with our clients and try to chase them down and do this. It's like, ooh, I wish I could make that. But like, he was happy with the dealership. It made sense. So that person said, you know what, I'm going to try to convert every single one I can because I'm going to show how easy and great we are. And they were able to do that, and they've done 14 more deals since. I've talked about them since then. I've made sure the client's still taken care of. I call them, I think on the 13th car, just want to make sure, like, hey, dude, I appreciate you finding a good dealer, and we had a really good conversation, and it was great. But yeah, I mean, it can happen, but with the amount of time you're spending in it, it's not like you've spent 2 hours, 3 hours building rapport.
Okay, let me ask you this though: are you not? I mean, obviously, businesses have to run at the end of the day. Are you not incentivized for that person to not interact with the dealership?
No,
I mean,
don't.
you're incentivized for them to keep coming back to you, and for them to keep coming back to you the whole, like, obviously you said 75 are local. So with that being said, obviously you would be incentivized for them to stop going to the dealership and just keep coming back to you. You would want them to build as little rapport as possible, no?
I have never once sent in 3.5 years of doing business, millions of dollars in sales, I have never once sent an email, text, or phone call to a previous client saying, it's about that time, you should buy a car, maybe, or ask for a referral, or do any, like, we haven't done any of that. We don't try to, like, push, like, don't talk to your car salesman. We allow a group chat to happen, and once that group chat happens, you can go ham. My business philosophy is very simple: is I offer a really great service, and I build an offer so good people are stupid to say no, or it'd be stupid to say no to the offer. That's the general, like, gist of any $100 million offer, Alex Hormozi. So that's what we built. But if some dealership can deliver such a great experience that consumers feel like they don't need us, a win in our book, right? That's good. That's awesome. Client's happy, well taken care of. I promise you for a fact that client will either refer you if you have that, or if it's another car, they'll refer delivered. But no, I don't have, like, an incentive. I'm not trying to, like, again, my goal is to change this industry. My goal isn't just to profit off it forever.
Right. I gotcha. I mean, that makes sense. It's just, I mean, I'm just thinking of it from as a business model standpoint. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, if all of your customers have such a good experience at the local dealership, logic would say they're going to stop coming to you and they're just going to go straight to the dealership, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I would also argue that I stand by the delivered process that people don't see is such a phenomenal experience. There is no, even I can give you the client and set everything up, and no matter what you do, you could buy every single client a steak dinner. They'll still choose delivered because of how amazing the experience is. That is our general philosophy: is make the experience so amazing, so great that people want to come back no matter what. I have no reason to incentivize you. I don't need to downplay your experience for mine to look better. I know how great our experience is. I've gone through it many times. Our clients have said it many times. I'll allow you to do whatever you could buy every one of my clients the nicest steak dinner you can. I imagine most of them will come back. Sometimes they don't, which is fine, which is good. Like that means they found a good dealer and they're happy with it, and that connection made sense. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, fair enough. Well, I really don't have anything else, but I do want to ask you for a little, I guess, piece of advice.
Sure. I'm an advice giver. Call me a therapist.
There you go. If because I know obviously I follow your TikTok. You know, I'm familiar. You've had plenty of times where you call a dealer and the salesperson cannot give you numbers over the phone.
Yep.
Again, you've been in finance, you've interacted with plenty of sales managers, I imagine. You know that there are certain sales managers that simply will not allow you to give numbers over the phone. What would you do as a salesperson in that scenario? Because I can tell you. Okay, but
like, in reality, if you're like, I truly believe, and this is one of the reasons, like, we have Ryan, he's a top 5 Toyota salesperson in the country. He joined us. He took a pay cut to do it. But one of the reasons why he did that is he believed that the way dealerships are doing business right now will not keep happening, and this industry is about to go through a dramatic change. So why not jump away? And I think dealers that are doing this are going to they're going to get so left in the dust by dealers that are willing to be transparent and open and honest that, like, I would get out and start building your career at somewhere that is honest and is willing to do numbers over the phone.
Fair enough. Well, that's all I really had for you, but I appreciate your time, and I appreciate the advice. And
no problem.
Like
I appreciate this. I know it's not easy to jump on live, so thank you so much. And everybody give a round of applause. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, boom. Thank you guys so much. Again, we are debating anybody or everybody that wants to have a conversation. I allow you to speak your words, speak your advice. If you're like, hey, Tommy, you believe you're a scam artist. Okay, cool. Tell me, Tommy, you're an illegal service and you should fall under. Boom. If your name is Chevy Dude and you're a narcissist and a pathological liar, All you have to do is DM us on Instagram or Facebook. Those are the two best ways to do it, because I have people checking that to vet you. I just need you, I ask you're in the industry. That is what I try to ask you to do. If you message us, we have moderators that are going through that. We left Mike a voicemail. He did not answer yet. It's okay. He's super busy running 7 businesses. Call Ray Skillman and ask for, I don't know who that is. No. If that man quit his dealership to work at another one due to that advice, I'll go buy a car from him. Chevy Dude doesn't want to talk on live. Yeah, it's because he uses a teleprompter. ChatGPT and a teleprompter gets you far away. What car do you drive? I drive an M5 CS and a Mazda CX-90. But again, Zach Morris, you are certainly allowed, as you come on here every single day, to hate on the service and hate on things and have questions. You are allowed to come on up. You're allowed to have a conversation. I'm not biting. You can see I haven't leaked anybody's information. I'm not like, oh my God, Zach Morris, this is where he works. So what happens is you get a lot of keyboard warriors, right? You get a lot of people on the keyboard that's like, Tommy sucks, he's horrible, I hate him so much, he's a scam artist. And you're like, okay, cool, I'd love to have a conversation. I'd love for you to be able to discuss that in front of thousands, right? And they're like, Tommy sucks. What would be next for you if you successfully change the industry? Great question. I haven't got that far. Mike can't be bothered to debate you, but he has time to respond to my review. That's crazy. Tommy sucks. He's horrible. Just kidding. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Do we have somebody else? So if you guys want to debate, I have 2.5 hours that I'm just debating people. We got somebody else that looks like that's going to be coming here. But you're allowed to come on, allowed to debate. We had a lot of people on Facebook that was saying they wanted to debate us. They wanted to have conversations. So this is your moment to come on up. Spam W for Tommy. I mean, I guess you can spam W for Tommy if you think spam and W is a good option. I'm all for it. I like W's in the chats. What's your favorite car for 2026? Ooh. Oh, that's a good question. You're talking about like a redesigned car, or like my just favorite car in general? I love my car, but like, are you talking about like the most redesigned car, like car that I'm excited that there's I don't know. That's a good question. I need to think of this one. I'm really excited to see the new Rivian that's going to be officially out this year. I haven't driven it though. Yeah, we are hiring. Yes. Do you apply on the site for the PR marketing role? Yes. Yes, that is where you would apply. Would you ever get into politics? Like be a politician? I don't know. I think that dealership should have competition. Do you think I can run an entire platform just on car buying and nothing else? Tell me, what do you think about the economy? Car buying, it should be better. Like, that's our entire policy. I just don't vote on anything. So your roads are a little rough, Governor. Car buying. Come on, you guys. This is the most frustrating day for me every week, because every week I have so many people that just talk trash. And then I allow them on live where they can come on and speak their stuff and say, Tommy, I know you're horrible because I've been saying all week. And then they just run away. So sad. We have a few people that we're verifying. We just verify you're real. What do you think about Slate? I'm gonna be shocked if Slate is able to do what they're able to do. But I'll be happy if they are. Because people don't want this type of stream. I mean, we have 2,000 people on YouTube and Twitch. How many people do we have on TikTok? Tommy, make a baby, bro? What? I don't know how many people we have on TikTok. So we have 1.4 thousand. It seems like people like this stream. Maybe, and it's okay. Like, dude, like, I'm not mad at you, right? Like, I'm not mad at you for not liking this stream. Like, not everybody's going to like every bit of content we're going to have. Like, if I do a car review, you might be like, Tommy, I don't like your car reviews. That's okay. But like, we're putting out we're putting more negotiation videos out on YouTube than we ever have. We are putting out more negotiation streams than we ever have. And we're just adding other things into it. Okay, do I have anybody yet? Let me see. Let me check my text. We just got Chase. We're waiting. I think we're verifying. I have no idea. There's plenty of people who are saying they want to join the live. I'm seeing a lot of requests. I want to join the live. I want to join the line. I want to join the live. Tommy, please keep my name anonymous. Jack. I'm just kidding. That was not his name. I was just making a joke. No stockpiling videos for months at a time? No. I'll join. Again, anybody who disagrees with me, we want to join. So the idea behind the streams today is a lot of people say that I don't say enough positive things on the industry, right? They say, Tommy, you just cherry pick the evil ones, the mean ones, the bad ones, the scary ones. So I just say, you know what? Anybody who disagrees with me, anybody that's allowed to be on here, you're allowed to voice your opinion. Why am I bad? Why am I horrible? Why am the things am I preaching in front of 5,000 people today? Because we have multiple different streams going. But like, why are those? Why, you get the moment to be able to get the floor and say, hey guys, like Matt, this is what I would do. Guys, I want to tell you why Tommy is the worst. First off, he isn't 6'3". I'm going to do the measurements. And then you could like show like how many cans there are and do that. You say, secondly, he is not the most handsome person in that room. Max is, his dog. Like you could go through and make a list of things and like prove me wrong, right? Is there an Alani in that bottle? Let's see. Thank you for the $10 donation. I just want to thank you for returning my emails about the Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. I didn't get the whole thing. I applaud you doing that for the community. Thank you. Boom, Alani. See Alani. Alani. I'll tell you, none of your business. Yeah, you could say Tommy doesn't have perfect vision. Like you could make a lot of disses. Wait, do we have somebody? We have somebody. We got somebody. Moment of truth. We're going. I'm not going to use their names because apparently people don't want their names on here. That's fine. As long as we verify you are who we are, we won't say your name. Moment of truth. Moment of truth.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, what's up? What's up, man? Well, I think you understand the premise of the stream. Thank you so much for coming on. You get to disagree with anything that I say. You get to pick the point to talk about, and we'll discuss it.
Well, I was more curious. I wanted to talk to you. Basically, the dealership setting has become so cutthroat nowadays, and I feel like part of that is the head honchos and everything like that kind of controlling the way that things go, and that kind of affects the way that deals go. Mm-hmm. And it really just boils down to the fact that the salesmen that we deal with on a day-to-day basis kind of just they're doing it for a piece of cake. I mean, mm-hmm. That's what we all know. But what I really disagree with, I don't think it's really you, but I really just disagree with, and you had talked about this with the last guy of, the sales managers and everything not being able to tell you numbers. I think that's complete bullcrap. And I think, you elaborated on it when I listened to that. But why do you think that they do that?
It's profitable. I mean, so you got to remember dealership. I mean, sales managers are outside of the deal for a reason. There's a lot of psychology that goes around a car deal. The reason a car salesman exists and why they work side by side with a car sale or with a consumer is so the consumer has a trusted ally to work side by side with. And the sales manager is the person that looks 3,000 feet above. They have no emotional connection. They haven't heard the story of the car salesman or the customer. They are looking at it just the profitability of the business. So they are able to be very analytical and make you hold gross when car salespeople would naturally, just to get a deal done and make it easier, would actually just give deals away. And it's one of the things that I believe. I believe that car salesmen should be able to give numbers. And if there's any position at the dealership that I believe should go away, I think it's sales managers. I'm okay with like a general manager being there. I understand that, but sales managers are an unnecessary burden on the system. It's insane. If I could give you a way to give numbers in 10 seconds, just by, oh yeah, let me click a button here, boom, 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 what's your zip code? Here, send it to you. Nobody would care to give numbers, but you care because you have to go to your sales manager. Your sales manager is probably busy. You got to wait 10, 15 minutes for him to argue and say you don't need to give, like, it's this whole back and forth that you don't like as a car salesman. But if car salesmen are able to do it in 10 seconds, they would. It's
the suspense factor at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Because it wants to be suspenseful. It's like a movie. It's like, there's theater to it, but Yeah, I mean, I don't agree. If I was to own a dealership, I would allow all car salespeople to be able to make numbers, and I wouldn't have a sales manager. You wouldn't have somebody that you're reporting to. You should be like, realistically, the problem is the car industry is willing to hire anybody, so you need babysitters, and I think that's absurd. You should just hire people and pay them well, and hire professionals that you trust to run your business. And when they make a mistake, they hold that accountability, right? If they make something stupid and they do a deal that they shouldn't be able to do, yeah, like they're probably not gonna have a job here after tomorrow. But like, don't ruin the customer experience because of that.
Right. And another thing that I kind of wanted to touch on is that, obviously I might sound a little dumb here, but I mean, being a car salesman is almost like you're a part of, I don't want to say a pyramid scheme. I think it's a scheme, of course. I mean, you're just a pawn at the end of the day, but it's more or less that you're kind of just there to be able to make the deal so that, you get a little bit of money and then your managers and everything get even more money. And that's kind of what ties back into that sales manager deal.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, everybody's trying to make their profit. And one of the reasons why I want to get rid of commissions as a whole, I think generally, and I just believe in a one price model. I believe you should price your inventory competitively. And a lot of people think that's MSRP. I disagree. I think if every Ram was listed at MSRP, some dealership is going to say, you know what, I'll list it for $500 below MSRP because that's a fair, and then you're going to keep going down until you're at the bottom dollar. Once you list your online price and it's the real price and you're not adding anything crazy and there's no negotiating, you really get to see what the market is. And I think the market would set itself if we just made dealers honor the online price and no add-ons, no doc fees, nothing crazy. Build all your profit into the price of the car. Get rid of a doc fee, get rid of everything, and just say, you know what, the price of the car has our profit built in. This is what makes sense for us, and see who buys it.
And there's one thing, that I'm a victim of it actually, that I really don't agree with is, and it's never going to change because it's how they make the most money, but being able for the dealerships to almost source their own bank out for financing options.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the stupidest thing in the world. I feel like they should tell you to go to your own bank and, figure it out yourself, because at the end of the day, you can't keep that money within you and the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to the dealership sourcing out their own bank, then you've got to deal with all these other loopholes to get to, your financing options and everything like that. And I'm a victim of it. I'm going to be 100% honest. I mean, I financed a car through my dealership and they used a company, and that company was god awful to deal with. And, it was just terrible. And I was young and dumb, and it happens, but I didn't know where you stood on, financing out of the dealership instead of through a bank.
Yeah, OSF, so outside financing versus going to the dealership. I mean, I believe our clients should be able to finance where their money makes the most sense. Like I said, I don't believe in marking up rate. I believe that if consumers want to use their own rate, they certainly can. If they want to use their own financing, they certainly can. And I believe that making dealerships have a fiduciary duty would solve a lot of these problems as well, because then you would know that they're looking what's best for you. But again, the idea is, if you don't have a fiduciary duty, you're going to do what's most profitable for you and what's going to make you the most amount of money, not some person you met 20 minutes ago and you're doing their paperwork.
Yeah. I had almost worked for a dealership when I was unemployed and looking for a job, and I was going to be a car salesman. And Tommy, I'll tell you, the amount of interviews through different managers that I had went through was absurd. I think I spoke to 5 different people before they were like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and offer you the job. And by that time, I'd already found a job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, that's good, man. That's
so
good
funny
for you,
to
man.
me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The interviews process is crazy, but I appreciate you being on, man. This is great. I appreciate you saying your piece.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate you letting me on. I hope all the rest of the live goes smooth, and we will keep watching.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Juan, if you want to be on here, you certainly can. You just have to DM us on Instagram. We do have a list, but I'll skip that list for you. You seem very passionate. So Quan, if you want to come on, DM me on Instagram right now. Let me know you're going to do it. I'll let you on, but no, I'm not paying you to be on my live in front of thousands of people. That's not how life works, buddy. Nobody's paying for you to be on. Not worth the value, so I say no, just like every other customer. I don't have Insta. Okay. Do you have Facebook? Do you have something to okay, I'm gonna call the next person. I'm not wasting my time with you. Next person. The real number.
You've reached Preston Shannon.
I called him. Did I call him again?
Hello.
Hey, sorry, man. It looks like I went right to voicemail.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, man. Thank you so much for being on here. I appreciate it. So the idea of the live is really simple. You get to debate anything that some of my crazy beliefs. If you want to say I'm a scam artist, I'm horrible, I'm the worst thing that happened to the car industry since sliced bread, you certainly can. The floor is yours. I'll let you talk. And what's
Tommy, no hate here. I actually love you. I was actually going to hop on. You actually answered my question right before you called me there. I was going to ask you about doc fees, how you felt about them.
Get rid of all the doc fees. There should be no you shouldn't have to charge it. You shouldn't charge an additional fee to cover your paperwork. That's absurd. Imagine if a grocery store charged you a receipt fee.
Yeah, that's about my opinion on it.
Amen, man. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for jumping on.
Yes, sir. Cheers, brother. Have a good
Cheers. Bye. I just don't get it. There's an entire world that hates me, guys. Where are all the people that hate me? Where are all the people that hate me? So by all means, Quan, I need to know where you work, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not going to allow some random person that has a fake profile to come on here. Like, you have to give us some way. Email me, Quan. I don't care. You can email me. Go on our website, use the contact form. My EA will look at it right now. So if you're like, hey, Tommy, I disagree with you. Like, this could be you, right? Right. I'm gonna mimic. Ready? This guy, Tommy, is a complete nerd, and he is not 6'3", and he is hurting consumers. I want to tell all of his audience and expose him for all the things he's saying because he doesn't know anything. This guy failed in the car industry, and I, a car salesman, know way more about the industry than he does. So all I have to do is DM him on Instagram, and I can talk to his entire audience. Until I fix my collar? Okay. Like, this is your moment. Like, I couldn't imagine anybody that you're like, this guy. People are like, people all the time. People all the time. We have people DMing us. We just have to verify. Didn't know if you had time to debate or not. Who's Jake? Do we not have Jake? Do we not have Jake? Who's Jake? I see Jake. Can you guys see Facebook? Is Facebook a thing? 1 second. We're trying to figure this out. Apparently there's some people. Are they on Facebook? Wait, what? I see the DMs. Please hold. I don't even know where this DM. Can I get on for a debate? I work at Blang. This person. I saw his. Sounds good. Thanks. What do you? I don't know. Okay. I'm not going to go through and do. Okay. Are we looking at Facebook mods? But again, if anybody disagrees with me and you guys want to go through and talk about it, you certainly can. I allow anybody and everybody that works in the car industry. This is your moment to do this. If we find nobody, we'll invite some people that aren't in the car industry. But like, honestly, with people that aren't in the car industry, you're probably just going to be like, oh, Tommy, you're so phenomenal. I love you. Which is great. I love being just gassed up, but what in the world are you guys saying? Okay. Amy's looking at both. Oh, it's just we only got Amy. We don't got Alyssa today. Oh, Tommy, you're so phenomenal. Aluminium. Okay, we got somebody. His name is I'm not gonna say his name. Never mind, because I just remembered. Not everyone wants their name being said. That's fine.
Hello?
Hey, is this Jamal?
Yes, it is. Hey, Tommy.
Hey, man. Thank you so much for jumping on the live. I understand it's not easy, so thank you so much. I think you understand the premise. If you don't, super simple. You get to disagree with anything I say. The floor is yours. You disagree, you think I'm horrible, you disagree with one of my stances. Anything along those lines, you certainly can say whatever you want, but the floor is yours.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I've been following you for a minute. I've been in the car business going on a decade now.
Okay.
At my second dealership, and I preach on what you're giving in terms of value. You know, I've been at the commission side and I've been on the volume side. You know, and it's misleading to the consumer. You know, it's someone's grandmother, brother, sister sitting in front of you, and you're basically trying to take advantage and maximize, you know, maximum profits in the deal. You know, so again, I appreciate everything you're doing and keeping the business, you know, transparent. Because it's hard around this side, and especially when you have a manager breathing down your throat, telling you to say something complete opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with anything there. I mean, it's tough, right? Volume versus gross, and I mean, it's even just employee deals in general. I think employees get some of the worst discounts because the deal has to be profitable, even though you just sold somebody and at 3 hours before that same car that was $3,000 below invoice. But for you, you got to pay $500 above because you're an employee and you got to help the business.
Correct. I just want to hop on in terms of support. I know you're looking on people to battle you in a bad way, but I'm just wanted to hop on for a few minutes and support and say, you know, I appreciate everything you're doing in the business.
No problem, man. I appreciate the support. It means the world.
Absolutely, man. You take it easy.
Thank you too. Bye. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys some opinions because I'm gonna just try to. we're gonna try to get some people out of here. First off, I don't believe car salesmen should make commission. I believe that should be banned today. Boom. I will make boom. You should not make any commission. I believe direct to consumer would be better than dealerships. Clients would be happier, and allowing it to work side by side with dealerships would make dealerships a better process. They would sell less cars, but they would make more money. Third, I believe that finance should not be able to mark up rate at all. You should have a fiduciary responsibility or give a clear warning before anybody ever steps into the box or the finance office, letting them know that they have no financial obligation for you and they will do what they can to make as much money as possible for you as a disclosure. I believe Chevy Dude is a narcissist and a pathological liar, and anybody that can come up here and defend the man, I'm certainly willing to have a conversation because the man won't defend himself even though he called me out. I believe car salesmen are one of the least trained people in the industry, out of any industry, and it's a disgrace what we allow in America for people selling cars. I believe my service is fixing the industry in a major way. I believe we made a major impact, and I believe we're changing the industry already right now, shortly into doing this business, only 3.5 years. If you disagree with any of these things, you're like, hey, Tommy, I don't like you. I think you're dumb. I think your hair looks silly. Whatever you want to say. As you can see, I don't yell at you. We have a real conversation. You can come on live, DM me on ideally Instagram or Facebook. I do think it's interesting that a lot of people come in chat all the time and say how much they disagree with me, but they can't come on live in the moments we have it. Now, if anybody doesn't have those two, I will start going to I'll look on. Let me look at TikTok. I'll look at TikTok. Let me see if there's anybody on Prime Day. Request. Let me see if there's anybody on TikTok. I don't have anybody on TikTok, so that's not true. This person literally say, "Dear hiring manager's name. My name is Louise." Okay. You need a CRM. I respect what you do, but you should also teach customers how to be customers. I gave a dude $9,000 under invoice, and he said I was trying to take advantage of him and left a bad review. Hey guys, guess what? Keep being yourselves. You're perfect, just the way you are. Was that actually true? I don't actually know if I believe you. Oh, look. Oh, did he post a video? Or is this a completely different one? Oh my God, can I watch this? I'm gonna watch this because this looks really funny.
I sometimes find that I start to stutter a little bit when I am in the middle of negotiating difficult car deals, but I try to keep it light. I sometimes...
I don't even know. He just literally said that. Oh, sorry, he sent me that. I thought he just posted a video. He did not post a video. Oh, he did post a video a minute ago. Oh, he posted a video a minute ago, guys. I don't want you guys watching it. Don't buy a lemon. Reliable used cars under $15,000. Crazy. He has enough time to post a video. Nobody go watch that video. I don't even want to give him the views. That was good. Do we have anybody else? Come on, people. I want to debate. I want to have... Ooh, I have somebody that gave a number. I don't know if he's real. He posted a video a minute ago. Do you think commission should exist in any sales role? I believe in today's society it shouldn't exist in any role. No, you shouldn't get paid off gross profit. And let me expand upon that. I don't believe that you should get paid in a role that the number for the price of the product can change. So if you want to pay somebody a percentage of gross profit, but the number cannot change at all, I'm more open to it. But if you can change the number, I don't believe so. Were you on a debate team? No. Oh, I got Zach. Zach. Calling.
Hello, this is Zach.
Hey, Zach, it's Tommy from Delivered.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, thank you so much for calling. I think you understand the premise here. You're allowed to disagree with anything I say. The floor is yours, man.
Shoot, am I live here or what?
You're live in front of 10 million people.
10 million? No. I'm closing my door. I'm actually working right now, but I'm happy to hop on.
Don't be afraid to jump off if you have to.
What's that? No, yeah. Just throw you on speaker here. Can you hear me all right?
I can still hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me, how does this work? Are you going to just throw something out, or?
Yeah, so I put a lot of my stances out there, but general rule of thumb is you're allowed to pick any topic that you want. I don't pick the topic, you do. So like, for example, I believe commission should be abolished in dealerships. I believe direct-to-consumer would fix a lot of the industry's problems. I believe that finance shouldn't be able to mark up rate. I believe dealerships are not entitled to a profit. They have to earn it. There's a lot of things that I think you get to pick any topic or something above and beyond. Tommy's a scam artist. Let me tell you why he screws you all over. Whatever you want to talk about, I let you talk about, and then we talk about it.
Gotcha. I'm very familiar with your stance on a lot of that stuff. And so just give you a real quick background. I've been in a dealership for like 13, 14 years. Currently, I'm a used car manager for a store up here in Buffalo, but and I agree with a lot of your stance. One of the things you came out with recently, where you're kind of talking about salespeople, and I can't remember exactly what you said, but something about
you shouldn't trust a car salesman.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is, and we're in a small town here, man. I got good people that work with me for me. We all go into it. Let me just preface it with this. Walk-ins are way down, man. Nobody just walks right in the store. So when somebody comes in, we put our best foot forward here. I can't speak for everywhere. And listen, I know what goes on with high-demand cars, but we put our best foot forward. We really try to get to know our clients, and we really try to line up stuff with their budget as easy and give them a good, fair market deal. And we're a number one volume dealer in the brand we sell here locally. A lot of that's because we do take a short deal to earn customers business and do try to treat people fair. And so I understand the premise you're saying, but I do think in most scenarios, all the salespeople I've ever encountered, and I was a salesperson for a long time myself, I feel like if you don't put good intentions forward, you're not going to have a sustainable career. And yeah, I know, as I understand it, you were in a dealership for a long time. I'm sure you know some people that were, walk the line, and I'm sure you knew some good people, and I'd be willing to bet some of the, good intended people are there and have been doing it for a long time, and there's some sleazy people who kind of come and go. I don't know. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, but and I'm not even saying that you could still be an honest dealer and you shouldn't blindly trust them, right? The general rule of thumb is for a consumer, and this is how I see things, is if I walk into a dealership and as long as the dealership negotiates, right? If it's a non-negotiation dealership, then the premise changes. But if I walk into a dealership and say, you know what, I fully trust you. Whatever you tell me I need in finance, whatever you tell me my trade is worth, whatever the price of the car is, I trust that you're giving me a fair market value deal. I'm going to say yes to everything you say. Compare that to Tommy that goes through and is an asshole, negotiates every piece. The person who trusted you will overspend by thousands of dollars. They will buy if I tell a finance manager, I believe whatever you should sell me whatever you believe in, that finance manager 9 times out of 10 is going to take a lay down, and they're going to go full markup on every single product in the back office. Might not be every dealer, but if you go in and trust your salespeople blindly, that is a more likely outcome than the person being like, you know what? You're only going to own the car for 3 years, so I'm not going to get you a warranty. I'm not going to get you, like, the idea of trusting them, as long as they're making a commission, they're normally going to look out for themselves.
I guess I would say that does happen. I don't know, probably does happen a majority of the time. I just abide by, like, if I can't say I disagree with you, like, business as a whole, a country as a whole, and stores all across the country, that probably does happen. And unfortunately, I just made a living doing this, and I don't take offense to that, but I do, as somebody who's always defended the business, I do put, my best foot forward when someone's in here, and try to give them a fair market everything, fair market sale price, fair market trade-in, fair market interest rate, all that stuff. And then, we have a fair market. The brand we sell has very expensive F&I products, and if we're not fair and affordable up front, we don't generally get them to do that. So, but I understand where people come from, and how that happens. My only thing with what you do for work, and I see a growing need for it, it's crazy, especially with certain brands. I was with a Toyota and Lexus for a long time, and what I see across the country with the wait lists and people paying these crazy, it's insane. It's almost like it's not worth buying something you got to wait and overpay for, but people do it. And it's amazing seeing, like, the swing in money people spend. I've watched some of your streams with that, but I just, like, I don't know. I think you could get away with doing I guess, where do you see this going? Where do you see, do you see, obviously some of the Carvana, who was it? CarMax bought some of these Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep stores, right? They're having a lot of success with one price, right? And right. So do you see, like, places kind of going that way and limiting salespeople, or what do you see, especially with all this FTC stuff coming out?
Yeah, I mean, the FTC stuff, I make a pretty huge argument that most markets have just completely ignored it. I mean, there's some that are honoring it. The Northeast is one of those things where I see doc fees in most dealers' websites, but I'm seeing plenty of dealers that are just ignoring it because they've realized that the FTC, all they can do is send you a mean letter over and over. They can't actually shut down your dealership, right? So plenty of dealerships have realized that there's not much teeth to the FTC. I believe transparency is the answer. Carvana CarMax is taking a step in the right direction. But I don't think they understand their customers that well either. And even with Carvana's newest platform of, like, a no car salesman at all, and just kind of like a consumer having a playground, I don't even know if that's the exact route either. I think there's this hybrid route. But I believe that delivered becomes big enough that people stop thinking about car dealerships as a whole. They just think about delivered. And and dealerships have a choice to make. Either they become a storage facility for car negotiation services to negotiate, or they allow franchise laws to actually come in so they can actually compete against the manufacturer, because they'll compete better with the manufacturer than somebody that's trying to negotiate through their throat.
Yeah, and you made a post about that kind of recently about like the good dealers will survive. I can't remember the exact line you made, but like basically the people that are doing it right now would have nothing to worry about, and some of the places that are kind of towing the line. And I 100% like agree with that. You know, I guess I don't have much to disagree with you, man. I just wanted to hop on. I just like I'm in a small market, Buffalo, New York, extremely competitive, and we all know each other up here. Like it's just like, you know, New York State protects the consumer. We only have a $175 doc fee. Like it's like there's not like our price is online. Your sales tax is whatever it is in whatever county you live in here, and there's no, you know, there's no like fee we're gonna hit you with over the head with after we agree to, you know, terms. The state charges you one fee to transfer plates, another to get new ones. That's a documented fee that you know, license plates. Like it's pretty transparent up here. I guess the only thing I'd tell you is like I think a world where you know you show people market value, market price on new, used, and like my position is like, you know, I don't think we should totally deviate from being able to negotiate because everything's time based. If you have a lot of something, well, maybe you'd negotiate a little bit more than if you didn't. But like I think like a world where there's kind of like a happy medium, but there should be. The one part I do disagree with you, and maybe you could sound back, is like what's stopping someone from using your service? What is keeping somebody from like doing their research in 10 minutes on a Car Guru, an Edmunds and a Kelley Blue Book on both parts, car they're buying, the car they're trading, and a quick 3-minute Google search to look up, hey, I got great credit, what's the best rate out there? Like, you know, what's keeping somebody, like, I feel like any sound consumer within reason, I know you got to know trim levels if you don't know a brand real well, but like why can't somebody figure that out within 10 minutes and then just come into a dealership and make a car deal? You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm asking you? Like why wouldn't somebody do that versus paying you what they do to accomplish the same thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think this is where dealerships do not understand what it's like to buy a car, and they live in their own bubble, which is fine. How your dealership does things. I'll ask a question on your dealership. If it took 10 minutes to do what I do, first off, I wouldn't have 24 employees. Secondly, consumers are smart. They are educated people. They wouldn't hire us. Like you don't hire somebody like $500 to pump your gas, right? You understand how to pump your gas. It's not hard. It's not a complicated process. Sure, in Jersey you have to, but like even then, like people, that wasn't adapted everywhere. People don't hire people for tasks that they don't actually need. The car buying process isn't a 5-minute Google search. And what I'll do is, let me ask you this question. You said multiple times, I'm gonna talk about new cars for a minute, not used cars, but new cars. You keep saying I charge fair market value on a car. How do you determine fair market value?
So you can determine it in a couple of different ways, but oftentimes we're price shopped by our competitors. We have an idea of what others are offering discount wise on like you were talking new cars, I'm assuming.
Yeah. But how do you get that data?
Well, the data generally comes from other like local stores' sites and/or the customers already kind of come in with that information. And
but can we agree that not every dealership honors the online price?
I do, yeah, and I don't know.
But not everybody does. I'm glad you do, but not everybody does.
Well, and back to like, I don't know how somebody could do that and then stay in business. I mean, I certainly can understand it in like a very busy transient market. Like we're talking small Buffalo here.
And then I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to get into this. Do you guys ever lower your price on your online website? Do you guys ever, like, somebody comes in, they want to buy a car, do you ever take $500 to $1,000 off?
Are you asking me, do we do better than our online price? The answer is
yes.
Yes.
Do you negotiate at all? Will you ever negotiate? Or are you one price every single time, no matter what?
We are not one price.
We do negotiate.
And, I'll take it one step further. I know I'm probably different, but like, I when somebody comes in, I appreciate that they've gone through the effort to come in and give us an opportunity to earn their business in person. We oftentimes, go over the online price and then say, hey, this is what we'll do for you. Thank for them being in person. I'll do a little more, because, I realize people don't want to always, come in. And we're getting more and more, like the brand we sell, we're getting more and more, like people shopping, like they don't even come in. Like, it's almost it's 90% done before they get here, but which makes me have a question for you. Like, and when I say 90%, sometimes, man, like so much of what we're talking about on the phone is like trim levels and what trim levels buy you for what money, you know, at what MSRP, I should say. You know what I mean? So how often do you have that in your world where like people don't really, you guys have to almost know those brands of cars in order to help your customers? You know what I mean? Is that like
plenty of clients have questions on it, but we do that before we ever start negotiating. We have a consult phase that goes through that. Most clients, I'd say it's about 50-50. They know exactly what they want. About 50% of them think they know what they want, and then they have to kind of fine tune when it comes down to it. But I do want to keep touching on the market price a little bit, because I really want to talk about, this is the problem that I believe is in the industry, which is, you said the fair market price is people come to you with quotes, which means your information is limited to people that are shopping. And then on top of it, you're using online website. But if somebody was to use your online website as proof of what you guys are selling cars for, it would be inaccurate, because you're willing to go down on that price. And that's the problem right now, is that consumers don't actually know what a good deal is. They can look at the website, but some dealerships, we both know, will advertise a price that they would never honor because it has thousands of dollars in fees. Other dealerships have a high price that they'll negotiate hundreds, if not thousands of dollars off. The price online means little to nothing. And that's why, even at your dealership, again, if somebody's willing to negotiate and they're willing to put in the work, they can get a deal. So this idea of like fair market value, it's really hard for any determining factor. Like, what brand do you sell?
I work for a Volkswagen store currently.
Volkswagen store. Okay. So like, what do you guys do? Let's just say, what do you guys do on a Golf R?
You know, I saw one of your things recently. So when we're several months out, you know, we typically ask MSRP, you know, but if I have one here, and this is kind of how we work, and in order for us to keep getting them on allocation, we have to move them. So if I have some coming in, I'll deviate from MSRP, but I am aware that, you know, that can vary, like, you know, within the country, you know what I mean? Like I saw you, you know, I don't know, it was a stream maybe a couple weeks back where you got $3,000, $4,000, you know, $5,000 off. I don't even remember, but, so, you know, to answer your question, generally speaking, that car sells at MSRP, but if it happens to land, it's sitting here, I have every reason to, you know, I'll negotiate with somebody. You know, generally for us, it's a higher demand car. We're not going to abuse that and ask him over MSRP, but you know, we'll generally start and ask MSRP to answer your question.
Okay, well, let's go even easier. Let's go Atlas SE. Do not account for rebates, so just dealership discount. What dealership discount would you give off an Atlas SE?
Well, I don't want to, Tommy. I don't want to get like too far deep. I'm not sure how much I'm allowed or not to say on like a platform like this, but we're, you know, all our stuff's kind of advertised. I'd be happy to answer this question. I'm not sure if I'm like.
Yeah, you're allowed to I'm just curious, like, what does your website say on an Atlas SE without rebates?
Probably I have to. Let me look it up. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of one I got. Give me 15 seconds here.
Sure.
So Atlas SE. 51. Let me just look here. Sorry.
You're fine.
So I have some on my site. You said Atlas SE with tech. I have some in the neighborhood of like about $3,000 discount, give or take. You know, we do a lot of this based on time on the lot and stuff. So, and then the rebates, you know, clearly laid out there.
Is there a timer on the website that I can see, like, when the next price drop is, or is that just you guys will at 30 days? Nobody really knows when 30 days will hit. It'll just drop. Because the reason why I asked this, right, is that I would disagree that that's the market value of the car. I haven't done an Atlas SE deal below $4,500 in the last 4 months, and that's plus rebate. So like that's where like my data shows something completely different. And the last deal I did for $5,000 off was in Maryland, so it's not like that far off from where you guys. It's not like this is a West Coast deal. But that's like what I'm saying, right? Which you probably would come down to that price, right? If I brought you that Maryland quote, which is why I'm saying and the whole reason I'm bringing this up, not that you're doing anything wrong, but this is what consumers see. They see your online price, and they see somebody go through, and they can actually get lower. And consumers want to get the lowest price, because who doesn't want to get the lowest price?
Yeah. I understand where you're coming from. I just, I think part of it, I don't think people always understand, like I think dealers are willing to go higher or lower based on, availability in those areas. One of the things I see is I get quotes from neighboring states, and I often wonder, is like some of them look so unrealistic, far beyond what you're suggesting here. And I often wonder, is it because there's, in the way I see, and I know you know this, in our world, a pencil, right? So, but I can't see all of it. So I sometimes wonder, is there something they're adding back in at the end? So you mentioned Maryland, I don't know, but is that a state that has a $17.95 dock fee, and their group says, they make money, lose money on the car, but we get our dock fee. Like, we're not a state, like that. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I mean, Florida, Georgia's the notorious ones for that. But this is exactly what I'm saying, is even to the point of what you said, is I don't know how Maryland does it, which is only 2 states over, and maybe their price is real. Like, you are an expert that's been doing this as a manager for a decade, and you can't even tell me what another state's market price is, because you don't know if you can believe it or not. Now imagine that as a consumer that has zero experience, and all of a sudden they have to go through, and they call one dealer and they're like, oh yeah, we're super easy. Next dealer says we're super easy. And then they walk into the dealership and they say, well, we actually don't do that online price because you don't qualify for these rebates. Like, there's so many games that are played, and some people just are sick of the games, and they're like, you know what, we'll just hire somebody else to deal with it. And it's not about money savings, but the time, energy, and anxiety saving service more than anything else. But this is the problem, is there's no database of new car sales that I can look through and say, this is a good deal on a car based on the last 38 that's sold. I can see that for a TV. If I go to Best Buy, I can see what Best Buy has listed that TV for the last 4 years. I know for a fact when it's a good deal, bad deal, or indifferent deal. You can't do that with a new car today.
I mean, does Edmunds not do that? If you took an MSRP, whatever brand, take a Lexus RX 350, with this package is okay, MSRP, okay, average discount or average sale price is this. Does that not data not, I haven't been on there in a while, but is that data not on there where it shows the consumer, all right, this is, as long as they put in the accurate information, this is what the MSRP with these features, line it up with the car they're looking at. Does it not give them an average sale price? And then can they not do research, on many sites that, give you data on your trade-in, as long as that, again, that's all accurate and all that stuff? Is that not available? You know what I mean? One of the things where I totally agree with you is these websites, dealerships are not set up for online shopping, right? It's hard between the way the manufacturers, between rebates and discounts. Like, that's just something I don't think you can completely control it, because it's their sales tax. It's really hard to put a price on shop for something, and have it not, we got our own site. We had to change it recently, and it's confusing to me when I put my eyes to it. I agree with you. I've been doing this, but I do think if someone has the info and they know what they're looking for, I do think, within a reasonable amount of time, they could get a sale price, get a trade-in value, and, as long as it's all accurate, and then they can get a reasonable market rate, whatever banks, with good credit, offer, and I'm not saying that it's not difficult. If you weren't to do those things, I think going to a website to shop can be confusing. I agree with that. But if you're the kind of guy that's or gal that's I've had this kind of car 5 times in a row. Okay, I want another one. I feel like that's pretty easy. I don't, but again, maybe I'm jaded. I work in a dealership. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I'll touch on is 2 points. This is one of my biggest concerns with the industry, and it's one of the reasons why I left the industry and why I believe that the industry can't self-regulate itself. I think as a business owner, and this is going to be a little bit of a jab. Hopefully you understand. I'm terrified that you don't know this answer. And if at any point of leadership, anybody who works at the dealership, you don't understand what it's like to buy a car, and you're like, I think the data is out there. This is your customers that are buying cars every day. And if you don't understand your customers better than anybody else, then you're doomed to fail. But no, there is again, we've already talked about how online pricing isn't accurate. Even T-sheets that you're seeing and pencils, you're like, I don't even know if that's real. Is there a game? Like there's so much misinformation when it comes down to online. Is you can go through and list on the average discount on a car, but the amount of games that are played, there's no way to verify that's actually even a good deal. Because if I went through the average discount you've listed on an Atlas, I would say $3,500 isn't a good deal. I would say $5,000 is a good deal in your market. And that's like that's the difference here. There's no verified information. You can find list prices on websites, but you can't actually see sale data. And list prices make sense when every dealership honors list price, but when they don't, they don't. But it's scary to me as anybody that in the dealership, especially somebody in leadership, that wouldn't know what their consumers are going through.
Well, and I'm not suggesting that I don't, know, but I'm like,
but you did just say, I don't know. Like, I haven't been to Edmunds for a while. Like, you don't know what it's like to buy a car in today's market.
Well, I tell you this, pre-COVID, I had a lot of customers coming in. I was selling cars at a Lexus store, and it was pretty easy. Trim levels were a little easier. And, I had customers come in, and they this was already, they print in a day where they type the stuff in, and they could get a printout of like, okay, this is on like a Edmunds where it would say, okay, average market discount on this car is this, and it was, pretty accurate based on, all the, all the little features put on the car, and then as long as they put their trade in on one of the many sites, accurately correct equipment, condition.
I won't disagree with trade. Well, let's just talk new cars, because I won't disagree with trade. It's not hard to find your trade value online. It's not hard to find a rate online. But I will talk about new cars, which is the major part of the purchase, which is the price of the car itself. Can we agree or disagree that KBB isn't 100% accurate?
I think it's not 100% accurate. Correct. But
okay.
Would we?
Have you ever had a KBB on a trade-in or a KBB? You can't even do it on really a new car because it's so inaccurate. But like on a trade-in, we'd agree that, and this is the company that is Cox Automotive owns this, which runs basically every dealership in the country. If their information is off on trade-ins, you can imagine all these third parties trying to collect information also could be off. There's no reliable source of information. And like I said, that's the biggest concern. And pre-COVID was a different time than today. But I would even disagree that even pre-COVID, we had this information readily available.
Yeah, I just feel like that was where it was headed. My point of pre-COVID was like, it was heading the way where it was like consumers had, there was a lot of supply, reasonable demand, but consumers had we're heading towards an upper hand of a transparent, if they knew what they wanted, transparent process, with, based on what they could see online and come in and accomplish. And then, certain brands with a high demand kind of got them off, kind of changed all that. But, Tommy, I got to run here in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Hey man, I agree with you more than, on most things. I'm out here trying to, make a fair living and give people a good experience. One thing I see some of this stuff, I got family and kids and I'm busy. I try to put all that into what I do here so that people can come in. If you had it my way, I'd have it where we could figure out 90% of what somebody wants down short of maybe a trim level and a color. And I would promise them an hour and a half tops in my store. I would love to do that. People, What holds me up is there's, maybe some of the shopping part of it, but we try to, within reason, give people, honest and fair pricing over the phone and all that stuff. And I would gladly, when I hear you go through sometimes, I would gladly, yes. How soon can they come in? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know why some people make your job so difficult, but
yeah,
we're
and
empowered to do that.
Yeah, no, I know your 3 seconds is up, and I appreciate that. And like I said, I know I don't think you have bad intentions. My thought process, as somebody that's been doing this for a while now and own my business, is go understand your customers even more. Go through what it's like to buy a car. Go secret shop 5 different dealerships and like see what it's like to buy a car. And then maybe you can understand like what they're going through and improve your dealership process even more. I know Ben's and Bowtie is a really good example. Doug did that for a while, and it's one of the reasons why they changed their model. But like that's what I encourage you to do. Go secret shop with some of your competition. Go secret shop with some people in Maryland and see what it's like, and maybe you'll start to understand like maybe this information isn't readily available.
Yeah. All right, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Have a great day.
Thank you. All right, bye.
Yeah, and this is like one of the biggest problems, and this is one of the reasons I realized very quick when I started my business is that people do not understand consumers at all. And I think it is the scariest thing when we're talking about the second biggest purchase of your life, when you don't know what customers are going through. And the idea is like, oh, I thought you could find this information online. No, you can't. So anybody's allowed to come up here and have a conversation. We have some people that are, I think we have a list. I'm going to go to the restroom real quick. But if you want to go on, please DM us. If your name is Chevy Dude and you're a narcissist and a pathological liar, please, by all means, you'll be skipped to the front of the line. DM me if you want to jump on and debate me, have a conversation. If you believe you can do better, worse, I don't care. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so I was told to call Jesse next. Jesse apparently made a TikTok about me. I think I saw this TikTok. Should I listen to the TikTok first so you guys can hear her point of view? Or actually, it's up to you. Jesse, I'll let you decide. I don't know if she's in chat right now. Do you want us to listen to the TikTok you made? I have a link to it right now. Okay, we'll listen to it and then I'll call her. Everybody's saying yes. Okay, let's listen to this TikTok.
So when FanDuel reached out to me...
That's not FanDuel, sorry. There you go.
There are so many things that go into this opinion. I've talked about it for a little while now as I've tried to record this video. And I just want to say that I believe that Delivered is like, he's a car salesperson and he's outside of the industry and he is coming along you as a consumer and helping you know you're getting a really good deal. He is transparent. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to get the information to get them in the vehicle that they want to be in. And then he knows how to get a good deal just with his knowledge that since he's been through the industry. He also has seen places where customers can get taken advantage of, and he's super transparent. So if you come across a dealership that has transparency, they have efficiency, knowledge, a salesperson that is going above and beyond and taking care of your needs as a consumer, where does Delivered fit in? And then also, who goes beyond the sale? Does Delivered go beyond the sale once you get that vehicle? Like, whose responsibility is it when something goes wrong? And who takes care of you when you have questions or issues with your vehicle? Does Delivered, are they facilitating communication after the sale, or are they just getting, their $1,000 for helping you get the best deal on a vehicle? There's different things you pay for when you're buying a vehicle, and the dealership that you choose in the community that you're in or the region that you're in, there are different things that you are paying for, and it's not a one size fits all. So I want to know, where do you think Delivered has a place in the car industry when you have an honest dealership and you have salespeople that are incredible and they're doing their job, so you know that you're actually getting the best deal? I think creating a scenario and a business model around where salespeople are taking advantage of you and then you can't trust any salesperson, and then now you have an opportunity to come in and save the day. I think that is a way to make money, but is it sustainable, and what risk are you taking on? So let me know in the comments what you think. And
I will say
follow me on-
this did get ratioed. She had 275 likes to 364 comments. That's normally a ratio. I have not looked at the comments on this one, pro or con, but I will have conversation. I just want to go in and give you guys the premise. She is somebody I would say that is respectful, but does not agree with Delivered as a whole. Why do I exist when there's honest dealers out there? We'll call her.
Hi, this is Jesse.
Hey, Jesse, it's Tommy. How's it going?
Hey, it's great. I was just watching your live.
No worries. Okay, so we just watched your video because I want to give context. I did see your video. And if you don't understand the premise, first off, I appreciate you coming up. It takes a lot of guts to come up in front of people. But general rule of thumb is you can disagree with anything. If you want to go with the video and ask some questions from the video, I give you the floor. I try not to interrupt. I try to let you have your conversation and we can have a open and honest conversation, but the floor is yours.
Awesome. Okay. So a couple things. I don't know every aspect of your business. Somebody asked my opinion of Delivered and I just gave it as a salesperson. I'm new to the business, so I haven't been around a long time, but I respect you as a salesperson. I feel like you do a good job with people and you're informing people. So I respect that. My points were to say dealerships take on a lot of risk people are getting in vehicles that are inspected by dealerships and they're driving them. And so I didn't directly say it in the video, but just there's other costs that go along with buying a car. You're not just paying for the service of buying a car, but you're paying for the liability if things go wrong, there's somebody's responsible for that. And
what do you mean by things go wrong? Let's dive into that. What do you're saying dealerships liability? We're going to talk new cars because I know you sell new cars. What liability does a dealership have on a new car?
I guess when I think dealerships are tied to new and used cars. It's not, we don't just sell just new cars.
No, and I get that. I'm not disagreeing. And like I said, we do new cars, right? We do some used cars, but really it's new cars is what we do primarily of. But I want to go through, and obviously a large portion of the public is buying new cars. So if your entire business model is Delivered doesn't make sense in a used car business model, we can have that conversation. But new cars are what we primarily do. I'm willing to have a conversation on the used car front because we have done used cars before.
Yeah. I guess customer satisfaction and just going with people beyond the sale as far as helping them know the technology and who when stuff happens. And it's not, I guess, get rid of the liability aspect of it because I was focusing more so on used vehicles, not necessarily new vehicles.
Yeah. Let's get rid of that.
And such that. But that would be the manufacturer and everything that would fall responsible on. So just negate that. But as a salesperson, taking care of customers and helping them know their vehicle, know the technology, know what they're asking for in a vehicle, and then helping them find something that fits their needs. I do think helping them elderly generation, a lot of technology changes over time. And so just helping them, if they get disconnected with Bluetooth, is that a service question then, or is that on the dealership to take care of that?
Yeah, we help. And I know you asked what happens with Delivered. I think you'd be blown away with the experience from Delivered. I would argue that almost any one of my reps would be more experienced than or more knowledgeable about your brand than almost every car salesman. And when it comes down to after the sale fact, we are 100% there for people. We're there. It's not like we do a sale and then walk away. The whole reason people hire us is to not deal with the dealership experience, right? They don't want to have to deal with it because it is a crapshoot. Maybe you get somebody that's good and trustworthy. Maybe you get somebody that's horrible. And really, you just don't know until it's too late. You're talking about, hey, I'm there for you. I know one of your comments said you're there for somebody at 1 a.m. if they have a flat tire. That's great, but I don't even know if that's true. You could tell me that until it's 1 a.m. and I have a flat tire. And that could be 4 years down the road. And maybe you're working there, maybe you're not, and maybe you just BS me and you don't answer the phone, right? There's no guarantee that any of these quote unquote services or experiences that people are getting that consumers aren't feeling the value.
Yes, I hear you on that, but like the idea of having community and connection, like a point of a dealership is to provide like a place where people can have relationship and be known. It's like if you go back to the same dealership, or if you're brand loyal, you're going to keep going back and you're going to get to be like known. If you're shopping for the best deal, I mean, you're not necessarily going to be known in that regard. Like, so I think that's where your service, like, it matters to people. But
And what's
think,
just so
like,
I know, what's the tenure on average on your dealership? Like, what's the average car salesman roughly has worked there?
On average, I don't know the average from the car
Is
sales
it
people.
5
Like,
years, 10 years, 20 years, 2 years?
I honestly just don't know. I've only been here a few months, so I don't know that answer.
So the
I know we have
average
people
car
that-
salesman does not 70% of the business turns over in the first year, which means that statistically you will not make it at your dealership in the first year. It just people quit or they get fired in their first year. So it's 70%. So like I love the idea of dealerships being this awesome customer experience focused thing, but like I just talked to a sales manager on the last call that doesn't even understand the pain it is to buy a car, right? And it was a sales manager that was on there. How many dealerships have you shopped to see what it's like to buy a car and put yourself in a consumer's shoes as now an employee at your current business?
As now an employee, I haven't shopped a bunch of dealerships. I don't necessarily have time to do that in my personal time.
No, I think your work time. I think your company. Like, so I spend about $20,000 a year secret shopping my competition. I will pay for their service. I will use their service, and I will take notes what other consumers are going through when they look for car buying services. I believe it's extremely important to understand your consumer if you're going to take care of them. And this is the second biggest purchase of your life. Right now, you're talking about I love the conversation of I want to take care of people. I think the word taking care of people, car dealerships as a whole does not understand what that actually means. Like the idea for you is teaching somebody what they could learn on YouTube and going through the Bluetooth, and that's nice, but like what is that worth to a consumer? Like setting up their car, asking what kind of car that is that worth $100? Is that worth $200? Like what is that worth to the consumer?
Yeah, and to me it's more so like building relationships with people. Like you're focusing on like what the average salesperson, like how long they last at a dealership. I'm saying like how do you treat salespeople like they're not disposable? Like it's a hard job. Like it's a hard job to come in and learn and know all these things. Like you're asking me questions, it's like I don't know the answer to. Like I'm not focused on like how long other salespeople have been here, because like I'm focused on what I'm doing for my customers. And I'm looking at people that are really good. Like my management and my team like are supporting me as a new person. And so like I think as a new person, you're limited to what your management is willing to do and help you and support you and train you. And so like I found a dealership where like this place does a really good job taking care of, like obviously every place is going to have its flaws, but generally the majority of this dealership is amazing at what they do as far as like taking care of customers. And it's like sending birthday cards, like creating relationships where you're touching, like having people come over from service and like have a cup of coffee and say hi, like where it's communal and like you're having connection with people. It's not just about, hey, you're just a number, I'm going to get you the best deal and then never talk to you again. Like, yes, there are salespeople that do that, but I guess I was saying like with your business, like locally, it takes away from my business or your business across the US. Like it takes away from my business locally if I want to like help. I can still help somebody get a good deal.
But why? Let's go. Why do you think that?
Because like I think there are bad salespeople out there that do like tarnish dealerships' names, and like social media just like magnifies flaws. And like being a new salesperson, like if I get on the phone and you ask me questions I don't know, like I'm not a master salesperson who knows how to answer that. You're hiring like people who are elite. Like you're not just hiring are you hiring people like off the street that just have never sold cars before?
Sure, that's plenty of our staff has never sold cars before. I'm not hiring people off the street, so to speak, but we're hiring very intelligent people. Some of them have car sales experience, and some of them have never sold a car in their life. Like Shannon was on the live earlier. I'd encourage you to go watch the live and listen to her speak in front of. Again, she's talked in front of people just like you are, but she'd only been in the company for 3.5 months. Sold 10 years ago at CarMax, so like no new car experience, no negotiation experience, and now she's one of our best employees 3.5 months in. So like what I would say is, let me ask you one question just so I understand your dealership a little bit. Are you guys a one price store, or do you guys negotiate?
We negotiate.
Okay, so my general rule of thumb is if you negotiate, I would put you in a group of dealers that I appreciate that you're willing to have coffee with me, you're willing to send my car, all of this community. But I would say the majority of consumers would trade a fair market value in a simple 10-click process than they would having a cup of coffee with you, or being able to, like, they would trade that in a heartbeat. And I think that's one of the issues right now with dealerships as a whole. I'm not saying you, but I think a lot of dealerships don't understand consumers right now. And I think they know what's best. So they try to do all these things like, I'm going to, again, I'm using coffee because I'm going to make sure I get coffees and send a birthday card and do this. But the easiest thing is I want a market price and I want to buy a car in 10 clicks. And that means 10 times more to me because you valued my time than any birthday card ever would. Because I will tell you, 95% of people that get the birthday card just throw it away. That's the reality. Like, it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Like, some people care about it, but the majority don't.
Okay. And I mean, like, generalizing, like, it's hard to speak to that because I just haven't been in the industry long enough to like have like evidence to like go against that. So I don't really know how to like it's not necessarily about whether we send a birthday card or not, and that taking care of people. And that's why we get a markup vehicles. Like I like our dealership because we like offer, we stay in the market. We're not going above like MSRP. And we do that because we know that there's dealerships that do go above MSRP because the demand is high. And so like, I feel like that is fair. There's also people that come in and they're old school and they want to negotiate. And so they want to get a good deal. And so it's above my pay grade to decide who, like, when we give a deal and when we don't. Like, that's not up to me to decide. I'm a salesperson. Like, I like go after what my customer wants, like, and I take that information to my manager. I'm not here to decide like what's best, but like a good salesperson will help like the customer get a good deal, or they'll help them make the process efficient.
So let me ask you this question. This is going to be a little bit harsh, but I want you to see this from a consumer's eyes for just a minute. Why do I want a relationship with somebody that has no power on my car deal at all and has no power to make mine? She has to go to a manager in order to get anything done. She has no control. She's just, again, somebody to get coffee, somebody does, but what value are you adding to the consumer that they feel?
That they feel. Can you, what
Yeah,
value
if I know for a fact you can't control anything on this car deal, all your job is to get the information and give it to your manager makes a decision. Why do I care about a relationship with you? In the end, you're not going to be able to do anything at all. Your manager is. Wouldn't it make more sense for me to have a relationship with your manager? That's the person that's valuable of a relationship. Why you, with statistically, you will not even be here. Because that is the reality of the car market right now. 70% of people quit in their first year. That's not just one dealer, that's the market. And I'm glad if you make it, but like statistically, I try to build a relationship with you. You don't make it. So the next time I buy a car in 6 years, you're not even there. I'm building with the next one. Why don't I just build a relationship with your manager and just skip you altogether?
Because a manager can't talk to that many people. Like that's like you can't find out enough information about each person individually. Like they've been in sales before, and that's usually like how they got to that position, is that they're good at like solving the problem too, but it doesn't always like work out. Like customers, we can't always like meet their needs as far as like what the price is.
So imagine there was a world where you could have a car salesman that could go and make all the decisions for you, could get all the it could talk to every manager for you, and you could just sit in your comfy little chair and relax at home. They would go out, they would give you the best experience you could. You didn't have to do any of the work, and you were guaranteed to know what the market value of that car is. And that person you're building a relationship with is the person you'll talk to no matter what car, what brand, what everything you're working for. You're working with the same people because that's the company that is. That's why people hire Delivered. It replaces a car salesman that doesn't have power and has somebody that's working for them to get them the actual information, rather than going through and having somebody that may or may not be there, may or may not exist, and isn't necessarily working for them, but is working for the dealership. They have somebody working for them, and that's why people hire us.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that a good salesperson knows what the customer wants. If they want the process to be efficient, then they make it efficient for the customer. If they want to know about the vehicle, then they tell them all the information about the vehicle.
Do you get somebody a good deal on a car every time, even if they don't ask?
But you don't guarantee a good deal every time. That's
I
not
get them
what
a
you
great
provide.
market value deal every time. I'll give them exactly what the market value is. People aren't paying above MSRP on a car. Like, we're going through and giving them all the options. So I'll look at your dealership. Let's just say you're at MSRP. I'll show you somewhere out of state that's $4,000 off MSRP. I'm going to give them all the options and let them decide. Sometimes they don't pick the best deal, but I'm doing the work. We're doing the work to find all of the market. I'm telling you what the market says on your car.
Yes, and that's what I would just say, like, being at my dealership, we stay within the market. We're not gouging people because
How do you know what the market is?
How do I know what the market is?
Yeah.
What
do you guys do in Grand Highlander hybrid nightshades?
I don't have that. Like what do we do on them?
Yeah, like what kind of discount are you guys doing on a Grand Highlander hybrid nightshade?
Or
just any Grand Highlander hybrid?
We're just selling them at MSRP. That's it.
Okay, I have not done a Grand Highlander hybrid at MSRP. I'm going to look up right now just to make sure I'm not wrong. Grand Highlander. Make sure I'm going to look at all the ones. So this is going to be the discounts that I have done recently. $3,255 off, $4,000 off, $3,521, $4,000 off, $3,500 off, $1,000 off, $3,497 off, $4,000 off, $3,000 off, $3,626 off. Like, so I would disagree that the market value on that car is MSRP. You're saying it's market value because that's what you guys determined, but you guys aren't doing the work.
What area are you in? Like, what area are you in?
So looking at the areas that I just mentioned as cars, we have one in Texas, Arizona, North Carolina, South Carolina, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Texas, North Carolina, Florida, California, North Carolina, Texas, sorry, I'm scrolling here, Georgia. I mean, it's every state, but like, again, I'm going through every market, every state.
Okay. And so I'm just saying, like, if our dealership, if we don't have if the demand is, like, we're selling those before they even hit the lot. And so, like, we can't even, like, they're not even hitting the lot. So, like, it's hard to give a discount. Like, from my opinion, this is not, I'm not a manager.
And what
like,
market roughly are you in? You don't tell me the exact state. Like, are you in the Midwest, Northeast, Southeast?
I'm in Iowa.
Oh, you're in Iowa, okay. So I'm very familiar with the Iowa market because I lived in Iowa. So I lived in Cedar Rapids.
Okay.
So
great.
So Chicago would have a much more aggressive market. St. Louis would have a much more aggressive market. Those are both but there's also games that get played there. But the general rule of thumb is I can get $2,000 to $3,000 off in Chicago all day of the week, and I can get $2,000 to $3,000 off in St. Louis all day of the week, and that's a less than a 4-hour drive.
Okay. And that's like, I guess like I haven't seen, like, people in our, like, area, I guess I haven't seen, like, giving people a deal like that because we can't even get enough we don't even have, like, inventory hitting our lot. So I just don't really see, like, how we can discount it before it even gets here if we can't even keep it on our lot, you know?
So could you imagine why now somebody would hire us to know that they might get $3,000 off the car, even if they ship the car, right? They don't have to deal with the whole process. They don't have to play the games. You might not even be able to find one, but they're able to get one for the $1,000. Maybe it costs $1,000 to ship it, but they got $4,000 off. Like, does it make sense? Like, again, we're talking about a car you might not be able to get, but Delivered can get. We do more Toyotas. I don't know what your dealership does, but we do 180 Toyotas a month, 170 Toyotas a month, somewhere in that ballpark. So, like, we do a lot of, I would argue that we do more Toyota new cars than a lot of dealerships in the country. So, like, I believe I understand the market really well, and cars are shippable. It's not hard to ship something across the country. And Iowa is a market that might value that customer experience a little bit more. But again, I struggle when people say that we charge at market value, but like it's really hard even for me to figure out what a market value is on a car, let alone a dealer that isn't shopping their competition daily.
Yeah. And I guess like I think your area matters, like what you can get on your lot and like the demand for it. Like I think that also matters. Because you have your inventory is across the US. You're not just limited to like what your dealership is selling and getting for allocation.
Yeah, and another reason why people hire us is I'm not in a situation where I have to rely on selling from my car. I can sell from 16,000 dealerships.
Yeah, and I think that benefits you in the way that you can like move inventory. And I just think that like there's different. I think that like dealerships have different responsibilities, like they're on ground and they have to like there's more liability and risk. Like you're not storing these vehicles for customers, right?
Nope.
So for them to pick them up, and so like having insurance on them, or like you don't have to deal with any of that stuff.
No, the client and that's between the client and the dealership.
Yeah, and so I'm just saying like as a service you do provide efficiency, but you also don't have other overhead costs. And so like people paying you for your service is like, I guess like can dealerships use you to go find vehicles for customers?
No, we don't work on we only work for consumers. But I mean, every business has liability. I have I just realized now over $2 million a year in payroll. So like, yes, I have liability as well. Now, do I have liability on the car itself? No, but I got a simple solution. If dealerships are worried about the liability, I will propose that franchise law get eliminated immediately, and they will be the only people not selling new cars, and we'll see if anybody else wants to take on that liability. And I imagine somebody else would jump in and say, you know what, I'll take on that liability. I want to do it. Like that would be the future we would see really quickly. I don't think the liability our dealerships are concerned about.
Yeah. I guess I also am curious, like for you to say what market value is and like what like you have access to get consumers a better deal than like what I have like access to. Like, does that mean that I'm like lying to my customers about like what I can do for them, or what is that?
But I want you to think about it in the consumer's eyes for a minute. I can work with Jesse, or I can work with Tommy. Jesse may have the inventory. She might be nicer than Tommy. She does TikTok. It's great. Like she will have coffee. She'll have a great conversation. She will work really hard. She will be there at 1 a.m. when Tommy's not. Or they can put their risk in Tommy. Tommy's going to shop nationwide to find me the best possible deal. He's going to use a team of 23 people to negotiate my car deal. It's going to cost me $1,000. The real question is can Tommy cover that $1,000 cost more than Jesse? And who is actually working for me, and who am I going to save time, energy, and anxiety on? Consumers would rather put the risk into delivered and say, you know what, delivered, I have a better chance statistically than delivered than I do Jesse. That's how consumers see it. Not even saying they're doing a bad job, but statistically, when you can only work with one dealership, you only can work with one manager, and you don't control the pricing, it makes sense for consumers to want to take that risk and say, you know what, the 16,000 dealerships, I'll figure it out.
For you to get them a good deal and to make the process simpler. But there's also some benefits that I offer as a salesperson and a dealership. It's not just like, I think there's place for both of us in the industry. I guess I was just posing a question like, do you celebrate the success of dealerships who are doing things correctly? Like,
I don't name any dealerships as a whole because I don't like, again, when I make a video, that video is on the internet forever, and you could be good one day and bad another day. I'll tell you that Shannon was on this live earlier, which was with one of my negotiators, and I gave her 5 minutes to give her piece on what she did, and the only thing she said was she gave a shout out to a dealership, right? Like that's not something that I ever do, but she's like, I want to give a shout out to this dealership because they're great to work with. Cool. But that's not something that I do, but my team's willing to do it. You hear it on lives when it comes down to it, but the general rule of thumb is, let me ask you, let's just say me and you did a deal together, right? I get you a client, you give me a deal at $2,000 off. It's a great deal. The client's now yours. It's as if a dad negotiated a deal for their kid. Are you going to treat a delivered client any different than you would a client that walked through your door?
No, I would treat everybody the exact same.
So now you're telling me, Jesse, I can get the same experience that you're willing to give me and get the benefit of Tommy all in one. And I only have to pay $1,000? Dang, that's an offer too good that people would be silly to say no.
You're good. I think you're really good at selling what you do, and you're really good at like you're still selling something. So I think that being in car sales, like I'm still selling myself too, and how it's not just having a cup of coffee with a customer. It's listening to their needs and what they want in buying a car, because everybody's so different, and so you can customize it to them because you have access to a lot of different things. I'm one salesperson who has access to the people in my community and the people that maybe want to travel to buy a car from me. But just people are people, and they want to be communicated well with. And I think you do a really good job of that. I have respect for you. I just also think being new in the business, there's a lot of anxiety that comes with being on social media and making mistakes, taking a call that you don't know if it's going to be recorded or not. And it's like, well, as I'm learning and growing through this process, like I want to get better, but I'm not going to be perfect at it. And so as you're like, going through, I just want to like celebrate people being good to people. Like, I think that is good. And people are more likely to talk about bad things that happen at a dealership than they are to talk about good things that happen at a dealership.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I can appreciate. Yeah, I can appreciate people being positive with the world. One thing I would say is I've learned very quickly after I got out of the dealership is like the reason why I'm so good at quote unquote sales isn't because I'm actually even selling myself. I'm actually telling people not to hire me. What I've realized and what I've learned, and this is like the ultimate sales hack, is understand your customer better than anybody else and solve their problems, and you will never have to think about money ever again. It's funny. My brother is my mentor, and he told me when I started this business, making money will be the easiest thing you do when you start this business. And I was like, that's stupid. That's like, I've been in commission sales my entire life. And I can say to this day, making money is the easiest part of Delivered. It is not. When you solve people's problems, they will throw money at you every single day. You don't have to be a good salesperson. You have to listen to your consumers, understand what they need, and solve that problem. Don't try to make up what you think the solution is. Actually listen. And it's really hard to do in a car salesman role. It's really hard to do in a management role. It's why I left the industry. I tried to do exactly what you're doing from the inside and realized there was no way I was going to fix this industry from the inside. So I had to start Delivered. And that's what I did.
And I think it's just communicating with people what our limitations are. Like I can't, give everybody the best deal. Like we wouldn't be in business if we just like gave away all the profit. So there's some things where you're going to make money on, and there's some things where you're not going to make money on, and you like.
But you'll always try to make money on every single one, even if it doesn't. Again, you start high and low. But why not go through a world where you just offer what you believe is a fair price and not negotiate ever? Basically, if somebody says no, you're willing to let them walk away. That's how every product is in America. Why is it different at a dealership?
And that, I guess that's how, like, we have a standard at our dealership that we don't just like take like the prices that we have they're fair for people. Like they're not absurd and like over, from my understanding, being new in the car business,
But why not just have one price? That's it. My price is MSRP, and if you don't want it, you can walk away. I completely understand. There's other dealerships that are cheaper. Why even change it all?
That's what we do. Like, I mean, like, I guess that's not my position, because there's sometimes where we need to hit goals so we can get the inventory in to sell cars. So like, I don't make those rules. I just am aware of them. Like we get allocated only so many units, and if we don't sell enough, then we don't get a bigger allocation, then we can't sell. We don't have the inventory to meet our customers' like expectations. So then we're willing to take a loss, so for the future we can make more sales.
And that would make any sense if you lowered the price. Again, I'm not even disagreeing that you can't have a fluctuating price. If you want to start at MSRP at the very beginning of the month and then midway through change your online price and saying starting today everybody can get $2,000 off, and we're honoring that for anybody who sees the website. The problem that most people have, what consumers have, is that if you don't ask the questions, you won't get a deal, right? So if I don't ask you, can I get a discount? So Dubuque is doing this deal cheaper, X, Y, and Z, then I won't get a deal. I'm all for you saying, hey, you know what? We're trying to hit a quota, so we're going to lower our prices $2,000 on the website to try to get more and more people in. Preach. But that means everybody looking at the website can see the same price. The problem is right now is if I didn't even know what was going on and I walked in your dealership and you guys are trying to hit a quota and I said, okay, I'll buy the car. Like, you guys are going to charge the full price. You guys are asking, even though somebody else you're willing to give a $2,000 discount just because they asked the right question.
Yeah, I guess I turn more people away on MSRP. We're at MSRP, and that's like where we're at. It's like that's our standard, and that feels like if there's, it's like, hey, if you can go get a better price somewhere else, like we're like, go get it. Like we're not just going to lower our, but I guess I can see times where it's happened, like where we've given people deals. And so I guess I don't really know what the standard is for that. But I don't really feel like it's misleading. Like
if I go in, is there a chance that you guys can lower your price if I ask the right questions?
Is there a chance? Like on a RAV4, or no? On a
Let's just
Highlander,
say on a
no.
Toyota
on a Grand
Corolla.
Highlander, no.
I'm buying a Corolla.
A Corolla. I think it just depends on like what we have and if they want to move units or something. But most of the time people just come in and pay MSRP. I don't.
But if
like,
I
I've
go
seen,
through
like,
and I find that Dubuque is willing to give me $2,000, or let's just say $1,000 off, and I show you that sheet, hey, Dubuque's willing to give me $1,000 off, otherwise I'm going to go buy a car from them. Is your manager not going to entertain that offer?
Then we just say, go buy if you can go get $1,000 off at Dubuque, go get the $1,000 off at Dubuque.
So you're saying you don't negotiate then?
I'm saying a majority of the time we do not negotiate. I have seen times where we have negotiated because we're trying to hit a number so we can get a bigger allocation. But I'm saying, generally speaking, like I've seen people come in and they're like, well, I can get a Prius $4,000 off. And then like, we just don't even take it's like, hey, go get the Prius $4,000 off. Like you're going to have like that. You want a good deal, like go get a good deal. Like we're not telling people they can't get a good deal. It's just, we're not going to lower our price to get that customer to be here. Like,
so who is special enough to get their price lowered?
I'm saying that that's above my pay grade. That's not a question for me because I'm just a salesperson. Like I don't make the rules here for that.
But that's the concern about the entire industry and why people are going to companies like Delivered versus going to the dealership. Because I think it's insane that two people can walk in and depending on who they are and the time of the month and the exact thing, and if I ask the right questions in the right moment and talk to the right people, I can save thousands of dollars. Because you did say you would discount it potentially, you just don't know when and where. So even you as the car salesman, a person I'm supposed to be building a relationship, the person that I'm supposed to, like, this is the payoff instead of using Delivered, you don't even know how I get the discount.
I'm saying that there are times where it's like we are trying to hit a quota, and those are the times I've seen discounts. Trying to, like, it's just like you can give more for people's trades too. Like it's like there's a range of what you can give people, but there's just a lot of variables.
Do you start at the very top? Do you start at the fair market value, or do you start low?
And again, I'm not a manager. I don't have that experience. And I'm just saying, like, having this conversation with me is like irrelevant because I'm new to this dealership. I'm new. So I just don't, anything I say just doesn't hold weight because it's just an observation.
Yeah. And like I said, I appreciate that. But that's, like I said, you asked the question on your live video, and I'm glad we can have a conversation and respond to it. But this is why people hire Delivered. This is why people use, because like.
And so I can be honest with people, like when I'm giving them, like when I'm seeing, like if I give them a discount, like I'm honest with people about like, hey, we sell these at MSRP. Like this isn't something that like we do often. And so I'll tell people that. Like that's not, and it's up to them if they want to go get a better deal somewhere else. It's like, hey, if you can go get a better deal, then go get the better deal. Like if you can sell your trade on Marketplace and you can sell it for more, go sell your vehicle on Marketplace and then come back. Like I'm saying, like I can also inform people with information that I have and that I have control over. I don't have control over like when the prices change because the market also changes. The market goes up and down. And so like I can't like tell a customer in 2 weeks, hey, we can get a better deal on this vehicle. Like I can't tell the future.
Yeah.
I can look at the past and trends. But like my role as a salesperson is to give the customer enough information so they can make the best decision for themselves. I'm not forcing them to buy anything. I'm just giving the option and opportunity to buy from me. And I can do that by being honest, by saying what I've seen. But again, I've only been here for 3 months.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing or saying that you're doing anything bad. The question that you posed is, where does delivered have a place? So like what I want to talk to you about is, if I go to Jesse and I try to buy a car from you and I think there's a discount on the car and you're saying there's not, now my option is I must leave you with the person I was supposed to build trust with, and I have to now start anew with somebody else, try to build that relationship with them, maybe keep going and over and over and over and over again. You've been honest that you're willing to turn people down on discounts that they found on the market that they believe is the market value, which is okay. You've admitted that the market does go up and down, so prices do fluctuate. So this idea that even though your dealership, as you've said, is honest, transparent, fair, and I'm not disagreeing with any of those, if somebody went to go buy a car from you, they might have more questions than answers, which is okay. But like, you can't solve everybody's problems if they're going through this. So, but that's why you asked the question is, where does delivered have a purpose? Even with an honest, transparent dealer that they talk to you and you're great and phenomenal, they're still delivered. You couldn't answer all the questions today, which means this is where delivered would come in.
And but I'm saying like you're determining what, like you're telling people with like your platform, like what fair and what like a business is going to have give and take. It's going to take losses and it's going to make profit. Like there's a balance, there's an equilibrium. And so for a dealership to have that ability to do that, because like when we take in trades, like customers lie. Like what do you do about that when a customer is not telling the truth and they're check engine light, but they cleared the code for their vehicle, and we take in a vehicle and it has an issue with it that is like the vehicle, we can't just sell it, like what do you do in those situations? Like
so let's just talk
I think
again.
they're accounting
Consumers,
for I think there's like accounting for like there's margin on both sides. I don't think it's like gouging the customer. I think it's staying within the market, and the market is a range. It's not like a solid number.
I don't disagree that it's not a range at all. Like I said, this is why I never say like you should get $5,000 off every single car. But why? What we're talking about market value, and we're talking about like where the market is. I agree. It's one of the reasons I don't publish my information and say, hey, this is the market value of a car, because even though we do 170 deals nationwide, that's still not. I believe we need to do about 1,000 deals to be able to get a really good market value. But like the answer is I can go to your dealership and I can get what you believe is the market, or I can go with Tommy and on the Grand Highlander he's shopping for this month, I have done 22 Grand Highlanders. And I can go through and say, based on Grand Highlanders, I've done $1,500 off all the way up to $4,000 off. So like I'm giving you a pretty good range. Now let's see how picky you are and how particular you are in your market to figure out the market even more. But I'm going through and using multiple dealerships and using real data to figure out what the market is. You are using your dealership and your availability for the market. So you're using one dealership, I'm using the entire nation.
And your margin is that you have a flat fee that people pay you for your service.
Correct.
Like and so you're getting that on every single transaction.
Yeah, but why would that change the information to the client?
I'm just saying like for your business it works because like you don't like you're not losing anything when you're not like taking in trades. Or I guess, do you take in trades, or is it
No, we don't take in trades.
trades?
These are numbers that dealerships have openly said, yes, I'm willing to take. So I'm giving you real data of what deals that clients, or the dealerships have said, yep, I'm willing to sell a car at that data. And if I have 35 in the last month all saying, I'll sell a car at $3,000 off on a car that you're saying is MSRP, that's data, right? And that data is valuable to make decisions on what you should do and what an actual market, that's how market values are determined.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So somebody buying it from our dealership and we have it at MSRP, and you're saying they can get it elsewhere for below MSRP?
Correct. Yeah, I have not done a single MSRP deal all month for a Grand Highlander.
Okay. And so what I would say to that is like you're giving the customer what they want. They're coming to you because they want a good deal.
Agreed.
Like if you can get them a good deal because you have the access like across the country, not all dealerships have that access. There's some dealerships that like will do dealer trades and there's some that won't. Like there's relationships that you build with companies, and there's some people that like we can't do dealer trades with some dealerships because they just don't want to. And so we don't have that same like relationship that you do across the country. And so I think that is where you're like I see where you can make money and it benefits the consumer if they want the best deal. But I also think like if a customer is looking to shop locally and they want to find a good dealership and a good salesperson, I think there are good dealerships and salespeople out there.
75%
because
of our
there's
deals are local, Jesse. So like the idea behind it is I get data and then try to get those deals locally. So like I would make an argument that I could probably convince your manager to give a better deal than what you're mentioning on a Grand Highlander. Like if I'm willing to push enough, I'm able to get that deal happen, and that's what we do. But the argument that I would make here is you've
and I
explained why
haven't sold any
delivered
Grand
exists.
Highlanders.
What?
So I haven't, and this is where like I'm new enough. Like I haven't sold any Grand Highlanders like in the 3 months that I've been here. So I don't know what fair is for like Toyota. Like I haven't been around long enough to like understand that stuff. You've been in the business quite a long time, and you've like know this stuff. My managers and what we do here, like there is trust and leadership, and it goes down, and so they're in those positions to like lead our store. And so that's where like as a salesperson, I don't really have the authority to speak for what is fair.
So let me ask you a question. This is going to be, you don't have to answer this question on here. This isn't not meant to be a gotcha. But if I was to listen to this entire conversation as a consumer, why would I ever go to a dealership? You've just told me all of the reasons why Delivered is awesome and why Delivered can get me a deal and Delivered can do all of this. And like, you don't have the information, which is fine. But like, why would anybody, like you are just selling my service more than I can, right? Why would anybody ever not hire me based on the information you've given?
I think it's because they want to support their community and have a relationship with a salesperson that is going to take care of them. Like
what if I told you that if a client tells me, hey, I only want to shop with my local dealerships, we abide by that and we only shop with our local dealerships?
So then they pay you $1,000 to find that.
Correct. And they'd still get a better deal because we still shop your local dealerships and we shop out of state to put pressure on your local dealer.
To put on based on what the market is.
Correct. If I go to your manager with 5 T-sheets and Grand Highlanders, all within a 200-mile radius, all with a $3,000 discount, and I say, hey, if you can give me $1,500, my client wants to buy local, your manager's probably going to take that deal because they don't want to lose somebody out of their own PMA. So they're willing to take that deal, and they're willing to get a deal. And my client got a better deal than ever talking to you. They still got the great experience. They still get you because they still get the 1 a.m. call for a flat tire. Like they get everything out of it, right? And it's like, this is like the benefit of Delivered is they want to work with their local. We had a client that took a $10,000 worse deal because they wanted to work with their local dealership. They still got better than what their dealership was offering them. That's why they were ecstatic. But like this idea is that not everybody's trying to get the biggest discount. Some people want to work with their local dealer. They just want to be treated fairly. And plenty of our clients hire us, especially in Toyota world, where they tried to get a deal from their dealer. Their dealership laughed at their face when they said, oh, we're not doing discounts. We only do MSRP. And we get discounts at that same exact dealer.
Okay. So, I mean, like, do you think that dealerships like have a place anymore, or are you just going to take over?
I believe dealerships in its current market do not have. I believe they're adding more strain onto the consumer than it's worth. I don't think consumers are willing to put up with it anymore. I believe it's silly that I'm a middleman. I'm fixing middleman problems. I don't believe my business should exist. I believe it's silly that that I had to come in to fix a problem because dealerships weren't willing to listen to consumers what they want. So that's where we're at. I believe there's two worlds this goes, which is dealerships figure it out and they start taking care of everybody. Everybody goes to one price. It's all market data. It's all structured, and Delivered goes out of business that way. Or option B is Delivered becomes the norm. People don't even think about dealerships. People don't think about Jesse. They think about Tommy. They think about Delivered. They hire us, and dealerships just become a warehouse. I believe dealerships just getting better is the better answer. It adds more of an expense to the consumer having me around. I don't like that. I'd rather go fix another problem, but I'm willing to go either way. It's really dealerships options.
Yeah, and I think that dealerships can, if they're doing what is fair for the customer, then like I think they are like I don't think that you are necessary in that regard, and you.
But
said
who
that
determines
you would go
fair?
away. The market does.
But how?
Like,
but you've just I just gave you data on all these Grand Highlanders, and you still said that's above my pay grade.
It is because and that's why like having a conversation with somebody who's like I don't have the ability to challenge or say anything. I don't have the knowledge and information that you do.
So you don't.
I think there's a way
the customer doesn't. Your manager does.
No, I think there's a way to standardize and fix a problem that is like it's nationwide. It's not just it's not just one dealership, but there's like, I think they're like, you hold dealerships accountable, but I think the ones that are doing a good job and doing what is fair for the customer, like I feel like we provide good information for our customers and we show them like, this is what is fair. I don't have the I don't have the access across the country that you have. And I don't like, people aren't going to travel across the country to buy a vehicle. Like, I think paying $1,000 to have you deliver it and do those things like that, if a customer wants to go through you and do that, they have that option. But I also think customers should have the option to go to a dealership and work with a good salesperson.
But why don't they? They do have that option.
And I'm saying that like when we talk about good dealerships and what they're doing, I think that we don't have to like use your service to do that. And that's what I was getting at, is that there are good dealerships, and having an argument to say what is fair, like there's margins in that. Like you can tell me what the market is on a Grand Highlander.
I don't care. No consumer cares how much money you're making, what is fair or not. That's not how that is not how any consumer thinks ever when it comes down to what's fair. Well, you're determining, which is fine. Justine, this is what, we had a conversation for 45 minutes. What I'm saying is right now is your dealership determines what is fair, not the consumer, not the market. And I believe that's unfair. And I will tell you, like, I appreciate a 45-minute conversation. I appreciate you being bold enough to come up here, but like you're telling people that they could use you and you're fair and better, but you haven't given a consumer any answer on any question that they want to know. They want to know what the market value, what kind of deal can I get from you versus if I do shop 1,000 miles. I think it's insane that a dealership doesn't do that. And if I was running a dealership today and I would say, hey, you know what, we're doing $1,000 off. And in the market, if you go to California, you can get $1,500 off. In Georgia, you can get $1,200 off. Now you can do the math. The choices are yours. We deliver such a good experience that it would be stupid to say no to us. And I would make that experience that great to the consumer that they would know the prices of all their competition and they would still choose us.
Yeah. And I think that we both can have a place in the car industry of taking care of our customers and knowing what they want, whether they want a good experience or they want to be efficient with the process, or they want to walk into a dealership and like be shown a vehicle and like they're not.
Jesse, what I encourage you is
we're
going to open a beta program for any car salesman to go through the delivered process. I want to show you what a good experience is because I don't think you understand what a good experience is. And you keep throwing that jab, they can choose between a good experience and efficient. I would argue that the experience of delivered is 100 times better than any dealership can offer. And they don't have to deal with the dealership process. That's the argument. We're going to open this up to car salesmen because I want to start showing people what we built because it's incredible. But like, I'm sorry, I don't believe you. You've been here doing this for 3 months. I don't think you understand what a good experience is.
I'm saying that we both can give customers a good experience. Like
you said they can choose between a good experience and efficient.
I'm just saying, like, as salespeople, you're a salesperson, I'm a salesperson. We can like give the customer what they want, and if they want to go through you, they can go through you, and if they want to shop in their local dealership and have a good experience, they can do that too. Like, I think going like our platforms and getting on social media and informing people and encouraging them how to get a good deal on a vehicle, how to purchase a vehicle, how to go through the process in 2026. Like, I think we both can offer our consumers I don't know what delivered is exactly. Like, I haven't been through the experience, but I sell cars every single day, and I can give my customers like honesty, transparency, and I can show them like the vehicle and everything, and they're just walking into my store. I'm saying that they don't have to go through you to use me. Like, they can just come straight to me.
Like I said, I'm going to let you jump off, but this is a concern. And I understand this isn't your fault. And again, this is what I would encourage my team to do in this scenario. But I know you said you don't have time, but as an owner, I would make time. I think it's insane that you can see a business that is buying 470 cars a month. And as somebody in the industry, you haven't, your entire company hasn't stopped what they're doing. It's spent every dime they can researching why are consumers using this versus using us? Because if we can't figure that out, we are going to go out of business. That is how things work. I disagree. I don't think I think the only people that are going to choose dealerships are people that are uninformed. Like, that is where I think we're going. Like, if this is the world we're in right now, and this is the experience dealerships can't happen, you've sold the experience for delivered without me selling anything. Why would anybody pick that experience over delivered? I don't know. Like, we're gonna chop this up and put this into a video. I want anybody to go through and say like, hey, who would pick this experience? And I understand you've only been doing this for 3 months, but that is what most people are talking to when they're doing it. Somebody's only been doing this for a few months, and maybe you make it, maybe you don't, but the experience is rough right now. And I really challenge every dealership out there to understand what a good experience is. Go to, I don't think dealerships understand what a good experience is. I just don't.
But I'm saying that, like, I, as a salesperson, can inform my customers on, like, going through the process too. Like, I don't have the access. I'm limited to what I have at my dealership and what I have in my inventory. And so, like, I think that what we have is fair, and it is market value. That's what I know and believe is true. So I can help my customers know what information they have here locally. And if they want to go shop elsewhere, they have that option. Like, I'm not.
But just I want you to look at this
if
as
people
the
want to use
consumer.
delivered, they can use delivered. But if
Yeah,
they also want to walk into the store and use Jesse, like, I can give them information too and help them know what is a good deal.
Yeah.
Like, that's
But
all
just,
I'm
I just
saying
want
is
you,
that, like,
all I want you to do is, like, listen again. And this is an answer that you might not be able to solve, but your manager needs to solve. Is if I can go through and I can listen to Jesse, which will give me information on my current market, or I can listen to Tommy. And even if I just listen to both of their content side by side, one is going to give me accurate data on the entire market and give me the best data. One is going to give me information on their store and their store alone in their city. Who would you listen to?
I think it depends on, like, what you're trying to get as a consumer. If you're trying to get the best deal, like it just depends on, like, what you want as a consumer.
Okay. I appreciate you saying that. I would really challenge that. That's what I would do. I think to grow in this industry, that is one thing that you're going to have to change. You need to understand your customers better, the inside and out. I will tell you that 99% of customers would choose watching me over you, not for the entertainment, but just for that information point. Why would they listen to somebody that has such limited data when they can listen to somebody that has 100? Again, you haven't sold a Grand Highlander since you've been there. I've sold 30 this month, and it's the 25th. So, like, I'm selling one a day at least. So
And so
again,
as I learn and grow and know more about, like, my product, like, I'm new, like, I have to have an opportunity to grow, like, but it doesn't mean that I'm not doing what's best for my customers. Like, I'm still giving them information just like you are. I'm just,
you are
not
giving them what's
as,
best based on what you think is best, not what's actually best.
That's your opinion.
No, that is based on what you know. You've just told me based on your information, you are giving them what you think is best. Like, you're not going out there and doing research and saying, hey, you know what? I called Dubuque. Dubuque's want to give us $1,500 off. I can't do that. So I'd recommend you go to Dubuque, right? Like, you're not doing that. You're doing
And
basically,
that's not what people are, like, paying me to do. Like, I'm a salesperson. I sell, like, here at my store, and I sell the vehicles that are on my lot, and I talk to people about those vehicles. They come in to look at them. Like, that's in my wheelhouse. Like, people are paying me to know my opinion, and
they're paying your boss is paying you. Let me ask you this question, and then I'll let you go. If I was to put a sign on every single one of your cars and put delivered's price on there compared to your price, and it was $1,000 to hire me, how many people would pay the thousands of dollars more that it would cost? Because, like, on a Corolla, for example, I get 12% off of those. Just for an example, how many people would pay the thousands of dollars difference in price to work with you versus work with delivered?
How many people would pay the $1,000?
Let's just say to buy a car through delivered, it's 20 grand for a Corolla for delivered. It's 24, and the price is on your guys' car. The delivered price is on the car. How many people would say it's not about price because I want to work with Jesse? I'm willing to pay $4 grand more. What I'm saying here is you're overvaluing you in this process, right? Like, I appreciate you doing all these great things, but if I was to put a side-by-side deal, consumers would pick the cheaper price 99% of the time. If I went to your consumer and said, hey, just so you know, if you just went down the street, you could save $2 grand on that car. Like, they'd be like, oh shoot, really? And this relationship, everything you're building, everything would be thrown out the window. The reason why this exists is the consumer doesn't know better. They don't know what an actual market price of is because it's so hard to get. And that isn't something that's, like, necessarily quote unquote bad, but you need to understand where consumers are coming from to improve. Because if you don't understand these things, then you can never fix this for the industry.
And that's, I guess, I'm limited as what I can do for the industry.
Then
You're
get a
trying
different
to,
job.
like, fix and change the industry, and I am here to like do my job and take care of
Jesse,
people.
get a different job if you don't believe you can. Again, or just admit the you're in what you're in. But like this is like, if you have no control, no impact, then like find somebody that respects you.
Well, I'm learning I'm learning and growing and developing knowledge of this industry. And I respect you and what you do, and I respect myself and what I do. I'm not saying it should cost more either way. I'm saying that like I'm under leadership that follows the market and like we take care of our customers at the same time, like giving them the information they need. People have access to the internet. Can't they see what a fair price is on vehicles?
Where can I find the last 100 RAV4s that were sold and the market data on that?
It's like,
where can I find purchase sales price of the last 100 RAV4s? Even at your dealership, where can I publicly look and see what you guys have sold at any car?
But you can see what we're selling them at.
I can see what your MSRP. Oh wait, the website price is. But are we going to disagree that not every dealership honors their online website? Is there any dealership you've ever seen in the entire world that has advertised a price they weren't actually going to honor? Let's just say they offered a $200 discount, but in reality they had $8,000 above MSRP. I saw that on a TRD Pro in Texas the other day. So like online price, just because they listed there, you've even told me on this phone call, you're willing to lower that online price occasionally. And sometimes other dealerships are willing to raise that price.
And I think that's where it depends on like the market, where the market's at for that vehicle.
But nobody in your dealership is shopping to see what the market is.
My managers price vehicles based on where the market's at. They take vehicles. Otherwise we tell people to go get a better deal somewhere else. Like we're not here to like.
I encourage your manager to call in and tell me what dealership he's called to actually get T-sheets broken down of all of his competition. I don't think he's doing that. He's not calling dealerships, secret shopping them every day. Is there nobody in the Chicago land that advertises one price and changes that price by thousands of dollars with add-ons? Does that not happen in this industry?
And we don't add add-ons.
No, I'm talking about just not you. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. Are there even one dealership out there that advertises MSRP, but then let's say Chicago? I know you know Chicago or St. Louis. Is there not dealerships that advertise one price and then have thousands of dollars of add-ons after the fact?
And that's something like my managers have told me that's something that's out there, but like that's why we have our price the way we have it. It's like there's. But
what I'm saying is, you just said that all they have to do is Google to figure out the price. But if I Google and I go look at the Chicago prices, all of a sudden I realize that price, I think that's accurate, and then I bring that to you, and then your manager is like, well, that's not a real price because they have all these add-ons, or they're like, go find it elsewhere. Like this idea that the online price is the real price. It's not true. Most dealerships, I mean, go watch my videos. The amount of times I see a price, I just did a video on a TRD Pro, like I'm mentioning, where a dealership had $7,000 of add-ons that were not listed on the website, that were just additional mandatory add-ons on their TRD Pro. That was, if I would have trusted the online website, I would have thought it was at $200 below MSRP.
Yeah. Hey, Tommy, I got customers here. I gotta go. So.
Sure, of course. It was good talking to you.
I appreciate you, and thank you for having me on. I hear what you're saying, and I just think that there is, like, it's a bigger issue than it's not just going to be solved like overnight. But I do think there are people out there, there are dealerships out there that are doing their best within this industry to take care of the consumer. Doesn't mean that they're like shady.
I never said that every dealership was shady, but I appreciate it.
No, yeah. I don't think, but I just think how people view and perceive things. Like you have a platform, and I think there are people out there that are doing a good job. So I just want to advocate for dealerships and salespeople that are doing good. And I thank you for, what you're doing too, holding dealerships accountable. I hope that you do change things and standardize stuff to make it fair for the consumers. But I do think there are a lot more variables that go into the industry and this business, and that's over my head. So I appreciate you. I don't want to speak on stuff that I don't know about. And so I just.
Yeah. And if your manager wants to call in, they certainly can as well to represent it as well.
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate your time.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.
if you guys don't know who I am, hi, my name's Tommy. I negotiate car deals for a living. My goal is to save you time, energy, and anxiety. I save you money, but that's a byproduct. I charge a flat fee of $1,000. I handle everything for you. The price of the car, the trade, the add-ons, the accessories, the shipping, anything you need. We don't advertise this as a money-saving service because I teach everything I do online. You can do this on your own. You don't need to hire me. People hire us because they want to get the most accurate information and have somebody that's working for them, not against them. And honestly, just somebody who's experienced enough to be able to shoot them straight. And they know when they're shooting them straight, it's backed with 400 plus deals of data a month and not somebody's been here for 3 months. I mean, guys, this is like, I can't believe that somebody, Alyssa, what I want to do in this video is I almost want to do like ask a question at the beginning. Let me do an intro real quick. I'm curious on the amount of people that would work with a dealership versus hiring delivered. Now, before you answer in the comment section below, I'm going to have a conversation that you're about to listen to with a car salesman. This car salesperson asked the question, as I'm going to post here. Let that post, right? And I just want a little clip of that video there. What is the need for a dealership if they are honest and transparent? I'm going to talk to that honest and transparent dealer. I'm going to let her make the case on what service you should use. And at the end of this video, I want you to let me know, who would you choose? Would you choose delivered, or would you work with the honest and transparent dealership? Let's get into the conversation. Oh, okay. We've got time for 37 more minutes of phone calls. 37 more minutes of phone calls. We have a lot of people in queue. Who do we got? We got, who wants to argue with me? Amy, who wants to argue with me? Okay, we're going to put a shot clock on people. I'm putting a shot clock on people. I'm calling Patrick. We're putting a shot clock.
Please leave your message.
570.
Trying to call a second time. Patrick's getting skipped. Okay, never mind. Okay, we're skipping Patrick. Calling Landon.
Hello?
Hey, is this Landon?
This is him. How's it going, brother?
Hey, man, doing well. So I think you, this is Tommy from Delivered. So I think you understand the premise. You can disagree with anything you say. The floor is yours. What do you disagree with?
Okay, so typically I agree with a lot of what you were saying. The last phone call, I was kind of listening to as far as market data and stuff like that goes. I think generally people enjoy the way we do business here because we do use AI to price our cars the cheapest within 250 to 500 miles of all local dealers. We're very transparent as far as no dealer add-ons. All of our online prices does show our doc fee. That way it's not a confusion when the customer gets there and there's an add-on. We don't believe in necessarily doing addendums on any vehicle because I don't mean this in a bad way, but addendums are kind of dumb if we're being honest.
Sure. No, I don't think it's a bad way. I think it's a good way.
And we do ours very differently in the aspect of if you ever looked at our website and somebody orders a vehicle through us, you actually pay $1,000 less than the invoice. That way the customer knows the invoice pre-order, and then it's $1,000 below that price when the vehicle arrives. Okay. So I think we've kind of simplified the car buying process where a lot of other dealers drag it out a lot longer than it should be. And because we do use AI to essentially price our cars cheaper, we operate as a one-price store. That way we don't have to do the back and forth for 2, 3, 4 hours. Our goal is to have the customer in and out within an hour to an hour and a half. Counting, finance, detail, everything top to bottom.
Okay. A few different questions. Do any of the local dealerships in your area play pricing games? Like, do they advertise one price and do it with another? Do they negotiate? Are you guys all one price stores? Do you guys all use AI data? Or do they negotiate?
That's solely us. I came from a dealership a couple months ago to my new dealership. I had sold cars for roughly 6 years, and I came here because we're non-commissioned salespeople. Every salesperson here gets paid a straight salary. That way we have no incentive to upcharge any customers. When we do all of our trade-in values, we print off the Kelly Blue Book, we print off the Black Book value, and we show you clean trade-in if it's a clean vehicle, adjusted with miles so you know exactly what you're getting. And you know that we're not trying to go over on you. Versus where the other dealership I had, I was a commission-based salesperson. So we had to do the back and forth. We were trying to make a lot of money. It was kind of a scenario that screwed over the average consumer but benefited the dealer, where here it's more consumer-friendly and we just want to sell as many cars as possible.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the only thing that I would argue with is online pricing isn't super accurate. So, like, just because you are lower than them doesn't mean that's actually the market value. But I understand the concept, right? I think it's a good step, right? I would challenge you guys an hour and a half. I would figure out how to do that in 10 clicks. I don't know why it should take an hour and a half to buy a car, but I understand.
Well, my bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I like that you guys are salaried. Now, let me ask you about your finance department, because this would be the other step. Is your finance department also salaried? And do they negotiate products in the back?
So, as case of full transparency, as far as I know, I don't ask about other people's pay just because that's how I was raised, being from the South. Full transparency, but we don't. As far as I know, everybody here is salary based. Now, typically with back end products, there is a little bit of wiggle room, just to be very honest with you. But as far as the salespeople here, like I said, it's straight salary. We're non-commissioned, and even my managers get paid a salary by the owners.
Good. Yeah. I mean, that's good. I mean, that'd be the only thing that, I mean, if you guys are going all the way with everybody else, do the same thing with the finance, offer the product and then leave, you know? But no, I mean, there's nothing, I mean, that's a good way to run a dealership. I applaud you guys for doing it. And if you guys don't negotiate at all, no matter what, like I said, the only difference is if everybody else is doing it, finance should too. I'm not saying they're not, because you don't know, but that would be the only thing I'd challenge you on.
100%. And then to answer your question about why the deals take so long, if you do everything online, you're in and out. You walk in, you set a time, you go straight to finance, do your paperwork, you're out within 30 minutes. Now, if we get a fresh customer that comes on the lot and they haven't done, you know, the pre-approval, or they haven't looked at options or came in pre-approved already, that's when it takes an hour to an hour and a half typically. And that's including detail, because sometimes detail gets a little backed up.
Okay, no worries, man. Let me do this, because you're not really disagree with me, and I'm agreeing with you. I love that your dealership's rocking this way. I'm going to let you go, but I appreciate it, man.
100%. And I do want to say, if you know anybody that wants a Kia for...
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you. Have a great day,
Bye.
brother.
I don't shut your dealership out, but I don't allow you to shut yourself out either. Sorry. Okay, this person, now, apparently this person will be interesting. This person is from Dealership Life. This person is from a Facebook group that does not like me.
Hi, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Tommy, delivered.
Hello.
Hey, is this Caleb?
This is Caleb.
Hey, man, thank you so much for jumping on. This is Tommy from Delivered. Premise is really simple. Obviously, I think you know who I am if you're on Dealership Life. I allow people to disagree with anything I say. I'm a pretty open book. If there's anything you want me to give you some basis on what you could disagree with, but I allow the floor is yours.
Yeah, I honestly think that your services aren't needed per se. I think we discount our cars. I work for Honda dealership, so our cars aren't like Toyota or anything like that where they're stuck at MSRP. I think that the discounts that we provide online are satisfactory enough for the customers, and I don't know how far or how low you negotiate the prices per se, but I think there's certain overhead. There's definitely overhead that we need to pay our people as well, and I think that I don't know how much you're cutting into the deal, but I think you're hurting a lot of the business per se.
Okay. So first off, you believe there's no need because you guys are pricing your cars competitively. I like that. Let's just to do some baselines. I will tell you if I believe it's also in the same boat, and I won't disagree with you. What do you guys normally sell your Civic SIs at?
Civic SIs, actually, I believe those are MSRP, but pretty much every other product is at below MSRP.
Okay. Type R, you guys at MSRP or you guys above?
MSRP, yeah.
Okay. So you guys, those are good. Okay. What would you guys do on a CRV hybrid? Plus, no rebates, just discount.
So online price on a CRV hybrid, depending on the model, let's just say sport touring, right? Usually will be $3,500 below MSRP price. I want to say it really depends. Certain months are a little bit different than others, but usually what I tend to see is about $3,500 below MSRP price.
Okay. And what about an Odyssey, like an Odyssey touring?
An Odyssey touring, I don't usually sell too many of those. Those are a little bit selective, but I would say roughly about the same, about $3,500 for Odyssey touring, maybe a little bit more.
Okay. And then just make sure before I jump into selling Evo's market or not, do you guys negotiate at all, or are you guys a one price store?
We do negotiate, yeah.
Okay. You guys do negotiate. And secondly, sorry, and then do you guys have any add-ons, fees, anything above and beyond that, or is that you guys don't ever charge those?
No, just the normal processing fee, like the doc fee.
Okay. So Civic SI, disagree with on the market a little bit. I'm $1,500, about $1,000 to $3,000 off on those. So we're not terribly off. Type R, if you're at MSRP, that's a fair deal. I'm 10 to 12% off almost every Honda on the book. So like Odyssey, I'd be about $5,500 off that car we mentioned. So we're not terribly far off, right? Your pricing isn't bad, right? I'm not going to say like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. You're about $2,000 off from our pricing. So consumer would still net win. But you guys are willing to negotiate as well. So I imagine you guys would probably negotiate down to our prices and, we would be at the same boat. So that'd be one step, but most people don't hire us to save money. People hire us to save time, energy, and anxiety. They don't like the back and forth. They don't like to play the games on what the actual price is. If you said, hey, my prices are $3,500 and we don't move an inch, amen, preach. But like you are willing to move on your prices, which means you aren't willing to give the best deal up front, which means that somebody working for them can normally get a better deal.
Okay, no, I understand that point. I would say like with a lot of I can understand the time saving on there, but a lot of times when I'm negotiating with a customer, it's not a lengthy process. And what I've noticed is if like we're discounting each and every car to the lowest point lowest point possible, a lot of I just feel like that if we give all the customers a $5,500, discount, where is there room for us to make money? If word spreads around like, oh, Honda, this dealership is giving $5,500 discounts on every single car. No, well, not every single car, but like that particular model, this one varies. Like, where is there room to make money? Because I noticed with a lot of those customers, they don't tend to buy a warranty in the back. They don't tend to buy any, because we do offer additional add-ons and stuff like that. It's not forced upon you at all. We also don't show it on the pencil or the first worksheet. Usually it's in the back office where we'll show you all these different things, but I tend to notice those customers don't tend to help out the business at all.
Yeah, let me ask you a genuine question. I hope you're honest here. When was the last time you bought somebody as a consumer? So to forget that you work at a dealership, when was the last time you went to a grocery store, went to a movie theater, went to anything, and ever said or ever thought the process, I hope this business is making money?
Never really thought that now.
Consumers don't think this way. And like, this is the problem that dealerships have, in my opinion, is they think so much about what the profit is, what makes sense. And that's not how consumers think. Consumers want to know what is the lowest price on a product, and they're willing to pay that. What you're making on it is irrelevant to them. Now, if you don't want to lose money on something, you don't have to, right? Somebody else will probably buy it. But like, when people are judging their prices, if the market is $5,500 off a car and I can get that anywhere at the dealerships around you, that's the market on the car. Now, if there are other ways dealerships make money, there might be reasons. Most dealership owners are willing and more happy to lose that money because they're going to make that money elsewhere, which is one of the biggest problems with the industry, is that some people get deals, so other people get screwed. And I don't like that either. I believe a one price model would make more sense. But the general rule of thumb is consumers don't care how much money you're making. Like, dealerships like to add this sob story of, oh my gosh, we're not making money. Consumers aren't helping us out, but you're not helping any other business out. And if Best Buy is losing $500 to sell you a TV, you're not going to be like, damn, I'll pay $500 more so they can make that money. You're going to be like, no, hell yeah, I got myself a great deal. And you're going to show it on Facebook. You know, like that's the reality of it. So like I think dealerships care too much about their profit, and instead, what is the actual market value of a car, or add enough value that the people are willing to pay a premium for what you're doing.
I feel like our services are premium. Like with me and being in the business now, I can't say this for all of my coworkers, but I would say for myself, like my services are at a premium. I give excellent customer service, and I think that the prices that we're advertising the car at, you know, I think it's almost a steal in a way to have someone that is willing to sit there with you, make you laugh, go on the test drive with you, do all these extra things, you know, going above and beyond. I think I heard earlier you were talking about like no one really opens up the birthday cards or anything like that. There are some, you know, there's some old lonely people that really do like that type of stuff. They like those premium services. And I think that, you know, paying the extra bit, you know, and once they come in, if they need an extra discount or whatever it is, I think that's, you know, that's completely fine. But I do think like my services are premium, you know, that I'm offering. And I think that like, maybe I could be wrong, but I think they could be missing out on that experience with your services.
So first off, this is what I really challenge car salespeople. Is I would challenge, and we're going to open this up for dealerships to go through because I want to encourage this. I would challenge that 95% of dealers don't understand what a great experience is, and they think they offer a great experience, but they're not actually solving consumers' problems. I would argue that Delivered's process, hands down, it goes more involved and more intense to solving customers' problems. That I've yet to have a consumer go through and say, process, like they didn't feel like they took care of me, right? Like, so like saying you're willing to take care of somebody and laugh and make jokes, that's like basic business for me even to do business with you, not for me to pay a premium. And the question I'll ask is, if I put a price tag on you, right, where I said, you know what, for me to buy a car from you versus one of your coworkers, what would somebody honestly pay above and beyond to work with you versus somebody else at your dealership? For your premium experience versus working with Joe that's been there for 4 months, what would they pay more just to work with you? Honestly.
It's a hard one to ask. I've had customers literally pay, you know, like certain prices just because they want to work with me or have had customers.
Well, why would they have a different price from two different salespeople?
See, that's the hard one. I think like I've had customers that I had someone the other day that wrote me a check for $150 because they were working with another salesperson. I noticed he was getting a little upset. I jumped in on the deal, and I was like, "Hey, I know you're not being, we started talking, yada yada yada." He said, "Can I be your or can I work with you?" I said, I talked to, obviously I talked with a salesperson. I didn't want to be slimy or anything like that. He said that's completely fine. He wrote me a check for $150 after the fact. In the memo was basically for doing this person's job. So, I mean, do I think my services are $150 worth? I feel like it could be a little bit more personally, but that's just one instance where, a customer has literally went out of their way to pay me after the fact because I gave them such a good service.
Mm-hmm. So $150 to $250 is what you believe that's worth, roughly.
I feel like it could be a little bit more, but yes, I feel like yes, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
So if they could have, let's just say hypothetically, right? Because you don't know my experience, I don't know yours. Let's just say they can have the same level experience that I could, you at your dealership, right? Same level, the same level you could. They could pay $2,000 less. And instead of paying $250, they can pay $1,000. So it's a $2,000 less of a price than your price. They didn't have to talk to anybody at all. They still had the amazing experience. They didn't have to deal with finance. And they paid $2,000 less. And they paid $750 more than working with you.
But what is the experience? So, like, are they going like that? That is the one question that I do have is what is your service offer that mine doesn't? Like, are you guys going on the test drives? Are you guys sitting down with the customer and talking to them? Like, how is this experience happening? What is the delivered experience?
Yeah. So I think this idea of a test drive, I believe if you said, hey, pay me for a test drive, I don't think people would pay more than $25 for a test drive. And I think that's even that's crazy. Manufacturers have to be able to allow people to drive cars. And if you gave them the option to drive it with you or drive it without you, most people would be like, oh, I'll just drive it on my own. If I had to pay, right? If I said, hey, $25 to drive it with a car salesman or $0 to drive it for free, most people would drive it for free. But our experience is really simple. We have 24 people that work on Delivered. When we work your car deal, we have 5 people that are working on your car deal. You actually will only talk to 2 of them. So we have one person that's only dedicated job is to do consults, to walk them through to make sure that they understand everything that's about to happen, what happens with the car buying process, understand everything about their car, make sure they know the right car they're going to buy, all the information they need on the car. That is about a 15-minute consult where we go through and really dive into their needs. I have 4 people that are, now we have 5 people that do that. They only meet with about 5 people a day because one thing they do on their own time is they actually do deep dive research on these clients. They figure out what their families are, who they are, what makes them happy, what makes them enjoy, so we can have magic moments to make them special. After that, we go through an entire research phase where we research the entire market. We figure out what makes the client happy, what makes their needs, and go through and do an entire market nationwide research to figure out what deals make sense and where to target their deals. Then you meet your actual person, which is your car salesman. This person doesn't even negotiate anything. They understand the market better than anybody else. They're working with 3 negotiators that are, their sole job is to call dealers. Their job is to relay all of those deals back to you. We had a deal that we had 47 offers for a client. They go through all that information. You get a customer app that you can watch every single bit of this piece happening in real time. And then when we're ready, we'll let you know, like, hey, this is your local deal. This is your out-of-state deal. This is the best deal. This is the deal we recommend, but the choices are yours. After that, we have one person dedicated to making sure you have a great experience in finance, making sure everything goes smoothly. And then we have somebody that makes sure that there's not a single bit of damage to your car at any bit of time. So I have 5 people that are working on your deal. You'll only talk to 2 of them, but you get to sit back, relax, sit on your couch the entire time while that's all happening.
Okay, that service, that sounds reasonable, but I know that service isn't applicable for everybody. I've had some people that just want to deal with one person at a time, and they want that through the whole process. They don't want to be talking to multiple people.
You're only talking to 2, but like the first person is a console person, and then the one person you're working with through the rest of the way. You only talk to 2 people. The first person you meet at Delivered, which is the face of the face of the first person, which would be like your quote unquote, if you want to call them a receptionist at a dealership, you probably talk to 2 people there as well. And then you have your main point of contact, which is your client advocate. That's the person you're dealing with the entire way. Now we have other people working in the background. The best way I describe it is like a 5-star restaurant, right? You're only talking to your server, but you have a busser, you have somebody you have a hostess, you have a chef, you have a sous chef. You have a lot of people working for you, but only one person you're talking to.
Well, question is for you, I guess, and I feel like this would be a really good point. Why don't you open up your own dealerships where you're doing like that? That's your business model. You know what I mean? Where you guys are just going out to the lowest price and selling cars and giving that same service at a dealership rather than, doing it as a side or as a broker. I know a lot of manufacturers, I know just recently I was reading, it could be wrong, I was reading something about how I think it was Kia, maybe Hyundai, I think it was, that they weren't giving allocations to dealerships that are dealing with brokers.
Yeah, so first off, we aren't considered a broker, especially in the eyes of the manufacturer. If you just look at what they actually say, there's 2 different types of customers to them. There's a broker, and then there's an ultimate consumer. You can read every single one of those notices, and I'll let you describe what I do. A broker in the eyes of the manufacturer, so we're not talking about stage, just the eyes of the manufacturer, is somebody who buys a car as not the ultimate consumer and resells that car at a certain price. That is what a broker is. So they buy cars and resell them. Normally, they're flipping high yield cars like GX550s, Land Cruisers. Compared to an ultimate consumer is somebody that goes through and buys and signs the paperwork on the car. That is an ultimate consumer. We would be considered an ultimate consumer because you deal with the dealership and you're signing the client. We don't buy cars. We don't sell cars. So that Kia, Toyota, Hyundai, Mercedes-Benz all put out a notice, and we have multiple dealerships that have all agreed. And you can also just read the notice that we are not considered a broker in the manufacturer's eyes at all. No manufacturer would take it. It just wouldn't make sense, right? Like imagine somebody's dad helping somebody. Like how could you even track that? How could you track that Delivered helped you negotiate a deal and we're nowhere on the paperwork and we're just talking on your behalf, right? Like you still talk to the entire client. You still go through the entire experience. There'd be no way for a manufacturer to actually track that. But if you just read those notices, they're pretty simple. Yeah. So sorry, I know that was the ultimate consumer is what that you could just look up broker versus ultimate consumer and you'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, that does make sense. And then in terms of like, why don't you open up your own
Oh, yeah,
dealership
sorry.
and start doing this instead of what you're doing now?
Yeah, so first off, I believe I'm making a way bigger impact doing what I'm doing right now. Again, I don't consider myself a broker. I believe we've impacted the industry to enough of a point where I know you're from Car Dealership Life, and that's the group you're in, to the point where I have an entire Facebook group with 76,000 people that, depending on the week, I'm talked about more than actual car buying, right? Like, it's insane. Like, I call that the delivered trash talking group, because the amount of people that talk about me in that group is insane. We're generating conversations. We can't generate those same conversations just owning one dealership. Now, is there a world, and I also don't believe that dealerships can self-regulate themselves. Is there a world 3 or 4 years down the road, as we build capital, that this starts to make sense? Yes, but owning dealerships are very capital intensive, and the idea of me trying to do that at this stage doesn't make sense. But I promise you, if dealerships don't fix their own problems, there's a world where a process, I will tell you, it would not be a dealership like you would know it. It would be something complete opposite. I don't even think people would call it a dealership. There is a world where Delivered opens something. It's in our 5-year plan, but I don't talk about that publicly because that is secret.
I mean, I do agree with a lot of the points. I do think the car business is kind of plagued with, like, I mean, our dealership isn't so much, what you're dealing with the $1,000, $2,000, $10,000 markups there. I do agree it should be like almost a one fixed price, but I think I don't know, like, if you're doing $5,500 off of a CRV hybrid or whatever it is, there's little to no money in that at all. And I feel like that, I mean, obviously we're making money elsewhere with service department and stuff like that, but that business model isn't sustainable, if we're selling all of our cars like that.
Sure, I know it, but again, somebody's willing to overpay, so somebody's willing to underpay. So in the current market, getting the best deal for consumer, why wouldn't they do that, right? Like, I agree that direct to consumer should exist, and we shouldn't even, a dealership should work alongside with direct to consumer, and it should be a one price model. I don't believe my business model should exist at all. I believe it's silly that a middleman has to come in to fix middleman problems, but like, no consumer is ever going to care that you're making money or not making money. They're going to say, why would I pay you $2,000 more for the same exact product? And that's the current market we're in. So until dealerships go one price, educated consumers are always going to want to go to the cheapest price.
So we're kind of stuck in a way. I feel like the business is kind of plagued, and I think a lot of people realize that. I'm not a big Delivered hater. I think there are some videos I don't agree with. There are certain things that you say that I don't agree with. Can't really remember anything at the top of my head. No. But overall, I do agree and disagree with your business model. I think what you're doing is helping, and after talking to you today, I understand a little bit. I mean, the services are premium. You guys are sitting one-on-one with the consumer, talking them through the whole car deal. But again, I just think that there are things like with giving out $5,500 discounts. Now, I know you're not doing that. Now, this is not every customer that's coming in. This is, I'm sure you're just calling, somebody who calls in from Arkansas. You're just shopping around in Arkansas. But yeah, there's some things that I agree with and some things that I disagree with.
Yeah, we don't have to agree on everything, but just remember this: my service, I don't advertise it as a money-saving service, right? I don't advertise as, if you don't hire me, you're screwed. I tell everybody they can do this for free. I teach people how to do it for free, and I say my service is designed for people who have more time, or that have more money than time, energy, and anxiety. So like, my service is literally a luxury. So I agree. You can disagree with you all you want, but like, my service is 100% optional. I've never once said, if you don't hire me, you're going to get screwed. Like, I teach what I do. It's not rocket science. If people are willing to put the time in, they can get a good deal. If they're willing to talk to you and spend an hour with you, 30 minutes with you, whatever it takes, they can get a great deal. They can get the $5,500 off potentially. But that's the thing, is people don't want to deal with that. And then that's where that market comes in. So there are always going to be people that are willing to pay more for things that you think are insane. I pay for somebody to mow my lawn. Some people think that's insane. I think I would rather be doing this stream, because I'll make more money making this stream than I ever will mowing my lawn. That's my general rule of thoughts. And that's just how some people understand that their money is worth more, or their money is worth more than, or their time is worth more than their money.
Now, do you guys negotiate used cars as well, or is it just new?
We used to do used, but we ended up getting so busy that we're now only taking on new. We'll eventually take on used again, but we're not there yet.
I feel like that's where a big thing. Like, I agree that they're really, to be honest, I think car salesmen that sell new cars really shouldn't be a thing. Used cars, I do feel like there needs to be someone there to kind of talk you through everything and kind of be there with you, if that makes sense.
I mean, I disagree. I think there's more of a need for us on new cars, but that's a whole different conversation. If there's nothing else you disagree with, then I want to get one more call in, but I appreciate you jumping up, man. I know it's not easy to jump up in front of a whole bunch of people.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, talk to you later.
talking
Bye.
to you.
Okay, Amy, do we have one that we guarantee is going to be a tough call for 9 minutes? Demetrius, I don't know if you're watching, but yes, we did 450. 437. She said we don't have a guarantee. Keep these short. Okay, we got Jacob or we got Gabriel? I want to take on, I'm asking for the tough calls. Jacob or Gabriel? Give me which one. Jacob really wants to get on. Elliot seems mad. Elliot. Who's Elliot? I called Elliot. You want me to call Elliot? I'll call Elliot. I called Elliot. I'll call Elliot. That's fine. Apparently he seems mad. I want somebody who's mad.
Hi, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Tommy, delivered.
Thanks, Tommy. Please stay on the line. They said, caught me.
Yeah, don't care. I appreciate you even wait. Jacob really wants to go on. Okay, Jake, I will let you go on. Okay. Go, Jake. I got like 7 more minutes, guys. Make sure you guys follow the stream if you guys haven't.
Hi.
Subscribe.
If you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Tommy.
All right, let's go.
Okay, man. You've been wanting to get on, I think, for like 2 weeks here. I don't know why you haven't got on, but here you are. You're on. We got a short amount of time, so let's just jump right in. Disagree.
All right, man. So one thing I think that we can disagree on is your business strategy. All right, we can agree on. All right, your business strategy is geared towards focusing on the fear of going into a dealership in person and negotiating a deal. Now, I understand that it's not beautiful and it's not something everybody wants to do, but I feel like your business strategy, and I think I'm not trying to dog you for what you're doing. I think it's a great thing. But you kind of highlight on the fear focus of everything, where it has to be an afraid thing for people. Don't go to a dealership. They're lying, they're stealing, they're trying to get everything over on you. I don't necessarily agree with that in every point, but I don't agree with the part where it's just fear-based. There's something about that. You just kind of instill anxiety into people and make people not want to go into a dealership and have that experience. I've dealt with a couple of your customers who bought through you, and I feel like they do the same thing. When they come in, it's just fear. They're still afraid to even talk to me about financing. I had one guy ask him, I said, hey, what's your APR so I can try and beat it through the lenders that I have? I don't feel comfortable telling you that. What? Dude, we already agreed to the numbers. We're already on the price. I need to know where the target is for me to hit. And I think that's an issue that I have is, there needs to be a point of which, hey, maybe these are the dealerships that Tommy's Delivered trusts. So if you're dealing with these people, go for them, talk to them. They'll be able to take care of you. The few deals that I've sold from the people on Delivered, dude, they just are afraid still. And it's like, man, where do you tee it up? I couldn't even call the customer. I tried calling him and just asking him. And he went right back to y'all's associates and was like, hey, I don't want to talk to him because he was afraid to talk to me. It's like, what the heck, dude? We're already here. I'm trying to sell a car. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, 2 different things. So I'd love for you, I just with my sales, I've been same sales pitch for 3 years. I do not claim to have a magic wand or a secret sauce. Anybody can do what I do. I teach everything I do for free. Nobody needs to hire me. I'm a luxury service. Like, where is the fear mongering in all of that? Like, I teach you what you do. Anybody can do it. I just don't know where I'm generating fear.
Yeah. So, and I'll give you kudos to it because hey, you're on social media. You got to have the clickbaits and you got to have the heated arguments and the conversations with people. And a lot of it revolves around, I would assume, it's people's social anxiety. People don't like the thought of having to negotiate. People don't like the thought of having to say, oh, nobody wants to say no, and everyone's afraid to say yes. And that's the issue, I think, is when people watch your videos, people listen to, they look on the big old picture clickbait that you might post for somebody. People look at that and they immediately assume, oh, it's going to be the worst argument that I've ever heard in my life. I don't think that that's accurate.
Yeah, but I would agree with you if I didn't build an entire business model by saying, hey, you know what? I don't want anybody to think I cherry pick anything. So then I'm going to do this all live, and I'm going to do this all live streaming so everybody can see every call, the good, the bad, the ugly, and it's free. They can do that. And then I'm going to make that into content that is going to go through, and I'm going to post good calls and bad calls. And I'm going to make that into long form and short form. But like, I post everything on live. So like, anybody can watch any video and be like, you know what? Buying a car, he made 48. Like, there's a reason why nobody's ever made a video saying Tommy made 48 phone calls today and only one was bad, and conveniently that's the one that's in. Like, nobody's done that because that's not how it is. The majority of dealerships we call are a negative experience.
Okay, so the majority are negative experiences.
Correct.
Now, why do you not choose to do constant business with the positive experiences, and those be the focused ones that you call back to back to back to back to back? And it's the same thing that a customer would do. A customer has a great experience at a dealership. They want to go back to that dealership over and over and over again. And that's a part of, I think, the system is, you're calling 7 dealerships. Now, you're right. And one of your clients that bought from me, their first preference was a red all-wheel drive. I sell a Chevy, sorry. Was a red all-wheel drive Trailblazer. All right, well, I have a red all-wheel drive Trailblazer. That was perfect. But I guarantee it, and I don't know if y'all have the statistics, it's what, 70% of customers, 80% of customers who come in for a car actually don't leave in the same car that they wanted. They might settle for a different color. They might settle for different rims. They might even settle for a different trim. And part of that is they actually go to the dealership and drive and have the experience of being in a dealership. And most people don't regret their choices as much as I think the media makes it out to seem, or at least social media makes it out to seem. I can't tell you how many customers I've had that are so excited, and they didn't even come in for the same color. And people are willing to move on those colors because you come into a dealership and we're looking to make a sale. And what do I say to a customer? Hey, can I pay to make you colorblind? Can I do something to get this vehicle in your garage? And part of the negotiating tactics that almost makes it a fun experience, I think, come from that.
Imagine a world where you can say, what if I could pay you to not have to be colorblind? You can get the exact deal that you could get from that guy, but you can just pay and get the exact car, exact color, exact option, everything you want. It's not about money savings. It's about not having to make that exception. And we don't have a large amount of clients that are, again, you're talking about buyer's remorse, but we're talking about people changing colors from what they want. I've learned very quickly, if a client gives you 3 colors, it's number one choice is the one they actually want. And the other 2 are ones they're willing to settle for. And you probably shouldn't even try to negotiate the other 2 because clients want the color they want, and let's just get them what they want. But again, it's really hard for you to argue that I fearmonger when I teach everything I do for free. I do it all live. I allow people on here to have conversations and debate. And I say my service is something that anybody can do. Now, why I don't use the same dealer over and over and over again. If you've done business with us before, we always try to, but like, I work for my client. I don't work for you. So if my client is local, 70% of our deals end up being done locally. I'm always going to try to shop local. It makes the most sense for the client no matter what. If I can get the same deal local versus the same deal with you, Jake, it makes more sense for the client to buy local because they don't have to pay to ship it. Secondly, I don't actually know what I don't actually know what the market is. If I just go to you every time and say, Jake, what's the price of the car? What's the price of the car? You eventually might have a world where you're doing Chevys, where Traverses end up becoming short demand. And you're like, dude, we've done 48 Traverse deals this month. So the price is going up because I only have 3 of them left. Even though the dealership down the street's willing to give me the same deal. I don't know what the actual market is unless I shop the competition. So my job is always to shop the competition. But what I do on stream is I educate people how to buy a car. And what I'm almost always doing is calling dealers who don't really know who we are or aren't on our dealer list because my team's already called the other dealerships. Yeah.
I'm looking at your stream. There's a person who said it, and everybody on the stream is this way. Selling, I think SJ-MN, whatever. Jacob is selling the service just like the last 2 callers. So I want to focus on that right now because that's what you're doing is you're selling your service. And so the people who are watching you have to understand they can either buy the service that costs them $1,000 or they can have the service that might make them pay $2,000 less than what you could offer. You do the part of the negotiating, you take the ease of it. But if people were just not afraid to go and have personal skills to talk against somebody, and if it gets to the point where it boils over and you're frustrated and you don't want to do business with the dealership, walk out. If you want the best deal, it's when you're walking out of a dealership. They're going to turn around and they're saying, hey, what can I do to make you have a deal? And you
So
know that,
imagine,
Tommy, if you dealt with people.
But again, what you're arguing here, and again, the reason why I made an offer, like there's a reason why I don't do ads every 5 minutes on my channel. I do an ad read as something on here for new people that haven't been here. But like I'm not selling my service constantly. I'm letting people actually demolish my service and say why it's not needed, and then I'm rebuttaling, and that's the whole point of the stream. But even like in this service here there's a world where I don't have to deal with the game that you just played. I don't have to deal with any of that, and I can get the same price, if not a better price, and I have 20 different dealers who's shopping versus one, or I can play the game. There are plenty of people that will still play the game. More people that watch we average 30 million views a week or a month. Like more people are watching our content, using our tips and buying cars than they are actually going through and hiring us. We do 400 plus deals a month. But like, some people would say, you know what? I don't want to play the game. I'll pay the $1,000 and I'll call it a day. It's not a fear. It's that people just don't. It's the time, energy, and anxiety. And the time and energy is the biggest thing. They don't want to have to go to the dealership, play the game. It's somebody that's going to ask me, what do I want to be colorblind, and try to convince me to pick a color that I didn't ask for just to get a better deal when I could get the same deal and be able to get the color I want.
So do you think that with your service, there's money left on the table because you're not an actual person, the consumer itself, coming into the dealership?
There's always money on the table. I tell clients this all the time. It's one of the reasons we don't offer refunds after we start a deal, because absolutely, if you take one of our deals and take it to a dealership, will somebody beat it by $100? Sure, of course. Like this is just the reality. But the problem is there's a lost cause fallacy where there's a certain point where it could take 2 weeks to get another $100 or $200 off. So we get to what we believe is the market price, and we stop there and let the client decide. And if they want to keep pushing, we certainly can. But most clients don't want to push an extra week to save an extra $100 or $200. But sure, if you take numbers at any dealership and you go in store and say, I will buy this if you pay $100 off the table, I'm not going to be ignorant and say no, but like there's very little room on the table. But plenty of our clients don't even pick that deal. We have a client that bought what was it? It was a Cayenne. So we did a Macan and we did a Cayenne. There was one that had a carbon fiber trim, one that did not. There was a $8,000 difference in price. $8,000 for a wooden trim versus a carbon fiber. They paid $8,000 more for an $800 option because they wanted that in their car. It was nothing to do with money. It had all to do about finding the best deal on the car that they wanted. And even though I gave them an option $8,000 cheaper and the only difference was trim, that was it, they still spent more money. Some people don't care about the savings. Some people want the exact car they want, and they want the best deal on that car.
So, and this was kind of, I guess, I don't know if I'm gonna wrap it up on you or whatnot,
Yep.
But I guess this is where I kind of have a struggle. And like I said, I respect your business model. We kind of can go in back and forth. I think you get a better deal by actually just showing up in person. But you charge people $1,000 to go through your service. Is that right?
Yeah. I charge people $1,000, okay. And I've never once said that anybody can't get the same deal I can.
And we agree that time is valuable, and nobody's going to want to just blow $1,000. If you could turn around and, hey, maybe it's important. I don't think the majority of people who use your service are people whose time is really worth the amount that I think is kind of brought up to say, and that might be a bad thing. People are going to be mad that I said that.
I think you're.
For instance, you make
how long do you think the average
hour,
consumer
right?
spends buying a car? What do you think the average consumer spends buying a car?
Let's say you make $20 an hour. That's what people's jobs are. I don't know what the average is in America. It's probably $25 an hour. So
yeah, the average consumer that is hiring us is not making $20 an hour, but
let's say they make $1,000 a week. Okay, so you're telling me that a 1 week worth of pay is worth what you can do in 1 day of just going to a dealership? I don't agree with that. I think you can go into a dealership and you can waste a day, if you want to call it wasting a day. And if they give you the runaround in the first, you can ask preliminary questions. You can say, hey, do you guys have required add-ons? Okay, you do. I'm going to go somewhere else. Boom, you go to your next dealership. You can even call before you go in.
And
ask
what if
them.
they
If they're
call
not
before they go
transparent
in
with
and say,
you,
we don't do numbers over
don't
the
go.
phone. We don't do numbers over the phone.
Hey,
We don't do numbers
you know
over
what?
the phone.
I love it, dude. I love it. There's a place in Austin that does that. They won't give numbers out over the phone. So guess what? Don't go there. And I don't recommend you go there. But I'm willing to do that. And there's dealerships willing to do that in every city. It's a
But
competitive market.
finding
There's
those
5
dealerships, Jake,
dealerships
is
in
the
my
problem.
city.
The idea behind it is you're using
Right.
somebody below the median household income as an example. Most people below the median household income are not the ones using our clients or not being our service. They would just use our tips and be able to do it on their own. But the general rule of thumb is if I can hire you for $1,000, you're going to save me as much money as I would in that week amount of time, maybe even more. Then why not do that, right? I don't have to deal with it, and I can work that week and spend that time making more money. That is how our clients think. Our clients on average are not making $20 an hour trying barely making it by. Our clients value their time. They value their energy. And most of the clients, again, just read our reviews, man. Most of our clients would do it 10 times over, even if we didn't save them a dime, because it's not about the money. It's about not having to play the game, and they're willing to pay a price to not play the game. It's not about they believe I can save them more. It's not about money savings. They literally just don't want to play our game.
So do you know who Dave Ramsey is? Of course, right? He has every dollar. You go on there to get a mortgage for a house. What does Dave Ramsey do? He has people that he partners with. He has Churchill Mortgage. So if you're looking to get a house, he has people that he trusts for his business model.
Dave Ramsey also said that
helping
78% of people lease.
I saw that you said that, and I don't necessarily know if I agree with that statistic.
There's nothing agreeing with that. That's not real at all.
The Churchill Mortgage is a person who has a business that's designed to help people save their money and not be stupid with their money.
Okay.
And he recommends a company that he trusts. It'd be the same way if you were to say, hey, I've worked a deal in every one of the 50 states. So if you want to go fairly local to you, these are the dealerships that I recommend. These are the people who won't play as many games with you as the other places will. And if you want to use that kind of business model, I think that's a little bit in the sense of like, hey, I'm not trying to just collect $1,000 off every person. But
So what if I make that business model? Because you're just trying to make a business model that doesn't exist for me. But I only have 2 more minutes. What if I make that business model? I haven't secret shopped every one of those dealers because I wouldn't have time because I'm just making lists. And one of those dealers that I recommended, they go in there and they fully trust them and they get $2,000 of add-ons because their manager changed and their process changed. The idea of why Deliver doesn't put Deliver to prove it, which everybody wants, is because I can't guarantee that they're going to go to your dealership and get the same experience every single time. They work with Jake maybe, but if Jake isn't there, if there's a different manager, this idea is crazy. All I'm doing is offering a service for people who don't want to do it. That's it, Jake. Now, I don't advertise that you're going to get screwed without me. I don't advertise that you need me. I literally teach everything I do for free. And if you're like, hey, if you don't want to do it, you can hire me for $1,000. I don't know how you can disagree with that model or be like, dude, that's crazy. Like, because again, anybody can do, again, I don't advertise, if you don't hire me, you're going to get screwed. It is one of those things where it's an optional service. I put out more free content that I would argue 99.9999999% of people put out on how to buy a car. Anybody can follow my free car buying checklist. I don't sell a course. I'm not Dave Ramsey. I'm not selling you a course on how to sell cars or how to buy cars. I'm literally just doing it for free. And if you see the
And this is kind of the thing though, is like every dealership experience ain't an 8-hour experience, bro.
But I do it live so you can see it,
whole...
Jake. And I gotta go. But like, Jake, I do it live. So like I'm shopping live. You can literally watch. I'm not saying it's an 8-hour experience, but people can watch with their own 2 eyes and say, okay, he called 10 dealers today.
I had a car deal today. The guy said, hey, online price, no ads. Okay, online price, no ads. I'm not going to beat you up about it. It took an hour to get the deal done.
Great, Jake, is every dealership like you? Is every dealership like you?
Part of that fear, though.
Jake, I've got to go because I'm going to be late to my appointment. Is every dealership like you? Yes or no?
Of course, and not every person like you is like you. Not everybody.
But that's what I'm saying is I can't guarantee I'm going to get that experience. So why not pay $1,000 because there's a 50-50 even there's a 50-50 chance I might get that experience. I might not, but I got to go. But I appreciate the phone call conversation. We can maybe have this conversation another day.
Hey, sounds good, bro. Thanks for having me. I've been waiting.
I'm jumping off. I got to go, guys.